Welcome to Too Punk to Be a Podcast. The podcast is not a podcast. It's not even about punk anymore today. But this is our bonus content for you, the members of the Punk Hardcore Crossover Crib Facebook group. If you're not a member of it, go join it and shit, because we're going to have people probably listening to this that doesn't usually listen to our shit. So that'd be nice. But check out the group and check out some of the other shit we've done. Most of it's about music. Anyway, joining me today, the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour, the founding father, he is Jose Gonzalez.
The Tower of Power. I was going to say Todd Rundgren. Hello.
How you doing, sir?
How's everybody doing? Hello, sir.
I have specified in episodes previous, not the same Jose Gonzalez that killed Bruiser Brody in 1985.
No,
this guy didn't do it.
Not the same guy.
Not
no,
the same one.
I wasn't even alive.
He was not even alive yet, so he is cleared of all charges.
Yes.
Much like the other one.
Yes.
But anyway, we're here, if you haven't noticed, for a very interesting and very different conversation from what we've ever done. And we are going to talk top 20 favorite wrestlers. Yeah, long time coming, this one.
Oh, yeah. This is something we've been wanting to do. Kenny brought it up once, and I said, let's fucking do it. Because I know what my top 10 are. The last 10, 11 to 20 is just difficult. But again,
yeah,
you can ask me tomorrow. Some of these might change in order, but the top ones will always be top. I'm sure Kenny.
I've done it in a way where I can lump people with people, and I'm not doing tag teams. So I'm kind of going to pay tribute to some eras and people mixed in with one person, so I can cover as many areas as possible, if that makes any sense. Along the way, it might.
There, spoiler alert, there is one of these guys was in my top 10. I'll get into it when I get to him. He has been surpassed by somebody that may or may not rustle some feathers. We'll see when we get to him. Because he was in the top 10, but he's not anymore. Another guy has obviously surpassed him, but we'll get to him.
And I want to stress here before we go, we are meaning favorite. Not necessarily greatest. Yep. Greatest would be a very different list for my top 10, especially. My top 10 would not be my top 10 if we're talking greatest.
Exactly.
We're talking favorites, and that's a big difference. So don't get mad at me when, what the fuck, that you don't have so-and-so on there? Yeah. It's like, cuz he didn't mean that much to me when I was fucking 8.
Subjective. Like, where's Bruno Sammartino? I wasn't around. So
we're talking favorites. People that meant a lot to us. So this is why my list is weird along the way. Bear with me.
Yeah.
So, who starts? We did not discuss this.
So, you want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. So, my number 20 was not in my top 20 originally, but at the last minute, I did add him for one specific era. So, we're going to go to the Ruthless Aggression era for my number 20. The doctor of thugonomics himself, John Cena.
Very good. Not in my list.
Yeah. So I'm only, for a lot of people, he might be number 1, but he's my number 20. Only reason he's in my top 20 is because from 2004 to like 2008,
yes, sir,
dude was on another level.
Absolutely.
Prior to the PG era, he was the doctor of thugonomics. Used to come out in the retro jerseys and shit. He had the Reebok pumps. No, prior to
I know that.
Prior to the My Time Is Now, hustle, loyalty, respect. Prior to the Fruity Pebble shit.
Yes, sir.
He was the doctor of thugonomics. John Cena's my number 20.
I'm glad you mentioned him. That's awesome. I wanted to put him on here so bad, but I can't. But I will tell you this. When my older son was little, I took him to a Raw house show. And I've never seen anyone light up a fucking building like John Cena did that night.
Yeah.
There was not a single quiet motherfucker in that place. Him and R-Truth, as a matter of fact. Shout out to R-Truth. Both of them blew the goddamn roof off. I have not been in a louder building for anything as much. So people can talk shit all they want about John Cena now and try to make fun of him. But I've never seen someone light up a building like John Cena could. All y'all were cheering back then, so shut the fuck up. John Cena blew that building up, dude.
Has the most Make-A-Wish wishes that have come true. So, and he's a really nice guy in real life. I met him a couple times.
Nice.
Very nice guy. So
I got him an autographed picture of John Cena when he was little. It was pretty cool at that show.
Yeah. Yeah. Met,
Yeah.
met him at a pizzeria because he loves Chicago pizza. Fun fact.
Very good. Very good.
So
I'm glad
nice
he was
guy.
brought up today. That makes me happy.
Yeah, very nice guy. John Cena's number 20.
Cool.
You're number 20.
We're going slightly after that. Kind of, I guess I would put him in the modern era here. 2009 to present, I guess, is where this guy falls in. So a more modern era guy, so solid in ring, safe, well loved. People just talk great about him these days, and I always loved him. He gets a lot of shit for his look because he's just, it's goofy. But my number 20 is Sheamus, man. Try
Okay.
to find a more solid guy in ring than he is, especially his old matches with fucking Triple H and shit. Those were fantastic. Like I said, super safe, great worker. I always loved his in ring, man. Even back then when everybody was like talking shit, kind of hating on him, I'd watch the matches with him again when he was little. And I was like, man, this dude's in ring is so fucking good. What are y'all hating on this dude for? I always thought he was fantastic, and he still is. He's one of the people. He's now to that point these days where he's training folks and stuff. And great, you can't find anybody to say a bad word about the dude. Everybody loves him, and really watch his matches, man. Get past the goofy white skin as his painful.
Yeah, I mean, just a regular Irish dude, you know.
But my God, his in ring is so good, dude. He's just such a great wrestler, man. One of my favorites to watch, and has been for quite a while. Of the modern
in a way,
era.
I feel like in a way looks are important for a wrestling character, but it's not everything. Like you said,
Well, he's
Sheamus
used
in
it
ring,
for a
he's
good bit,
amazing.
too. Yeah, great
in ring, he's
dude.
great.
His
in ring,
is
that's
so
all that
solid,
matters.
dog.
We're talking about, okay, so for the people who are listening, we're talking about favorite wrestlers.
Right.
We're not talking characters. This encompasses wrestling.
Sometimes it'll be characters.
It does.
This time I'm talking about wrestling.
It's a mixture of a lot of things. In-ring ability, his promos,
but
his or her promo.
Oh, yeah, he's got a great mic too, considering he has an accent. That's hard to do a lot of times.
Good
he's got a great accent. He's got a great mic on him. But his in ring, I just love watching him wrestle, dude. He's so clean, so good. You can go find some botches, but generally speaking, he's one of those dudes where if they bring a new guy in, they'll put him with him because they know he's in good hands. You know what I mean? He's just one of those guys. Like if there's a new dude, just put him with Sheamus. It'll be fine.
Yeah, super safe in ring, like you said, takes care of you.
So he's just one of those guys I've always loved. So a shout out to Sheamus, man. If we're doing a top 20, I'll put him at 20.
Wasn't on my list, but shout out to Sheamus. He's, again, I agree with you 100%. So speaking of botches, so this next guy had a famous N-word botch in one of his promos. You know where I'm going with this? My number 19 is five-time WCW champion. It's Booker T, man.
Booker T. Okay.
Booker T. So a couple things that stand out immediately. The segment with Austin at the fucking supermarket is as classic as it gets. His work with Goldust is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. The fucking bit where he's at the hotel room with the chick and Goldust gets on the bed. I don't know if you've seen this. Goldust gets on the bed. He turns off the light. So Booker T turns off the light. They're about to get it on with the chick at the hotel. And he's like, you want me to kiss you where? And then Goldust pops out of nowhere. I want you to. And he storms out the room, butt ass naked. Pause. It's funny. But in ring, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason.
Book he's solid, dude.
Yeah.
Book was amazing.
You want to talk about it? So fun fact, you want to talk about a second chance at life? He redeemed himself because he was a convicted felon. Unfortunately, he did some time for armed robbery, but we're going past that. He's the perfect example, in my opinion, of making it outside of the circumstances you either put yourself in or are put in. So Booker T, yeah, my number 19. I wish he was higher, but yeah, he's my next pick.
He was he Harlem Heat?
Yeah, Harlem Heat.
Yeah, man. How can I mention Harlem Heat, bro?
No, of course.
Had me second guessing myself. I'm like, he was Harlem Heat, right? I remember Ron.
Booker T, yeah. Booker T from WCW.
Yeah, that would be where I'm coming from. If I'm thinking of Booker T, I'm thinking Harlem Heat immediately.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
I didn't even mention King Booker, but there you go.
King
King
Booker.
Booker.
Yep, that's
King
right.
Booker, yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of
His
WCW
TNA run was
Fiend,
pretty decent too.
his what?
His TNA run was pretty decent too with the Main Event Mafia, but I
Absolutely,
digress.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You're number 19, right?
19. Oh man, this dude would have been so much higher on my list if AEW didn't exist. This is one of those guys I was talking about. Actually, the next two are those guys I was talking about, where it kind of ruined it for me when they got to AEW just a little. This guy used to be really high on my list, honestly, because he reminded me of one of my favorites, probably my favorite, actually. We'll get there.
Yeah.
My number 19 is Chris Jericho. And
Wow.
I'm very specifically talking about the long-haired early WCW type years, 96 to 99, him and Malenko, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, the old Chris Jericho. Oh man, he was so good.
Yeah.
His in ring again, trained by the Hearts, but he reminds me so much of like Ric Flair in the ring, the way he works and shit, or used to, back when he actually gave a shit. But just watch the way he moves in the ring, the way he's constantly talking shit to his opponent, the way he's just so methodical, and the way he does everything. He just reminds me so much of Ric Flair when he works, man. So
Yeah.
when and back in those days where Rick wasn't around, I had Chris Jericho. It was basically like watching the same thing. It's like watching Rick when he wasn't
The
there.
whole larger than life persona,
And
yeah.
his later years, they're fine, whatever. I did the list, blah blah blah. But I like the old fucking long hair Chris Jericho days. That's what I loved. And some of the later stuff too was good. And then he went to AEW, and my God, the shit he's doing now is just so fucking stupid. Like there's like heat for like heels and stuff, and then like there's the crowd chanting at you, "Please retire." And they like it's not like a joking, like you really just nobody wants you there type thing. And it's like, man, and he's like doubling down on it. It's like, dude, God damn it, get a hint, you know?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
sucks. And I don't even watch the shit, but going to the good
He is
old
one of
glory
the
days. Old Chris
he is one
Jericho
of the
matches,
goats.
man. I love Chris Jericho, and he would have been a lot higher for me, to be totally honest with you. But reevaluating my whole list, I put him down quite a bit. But
He is
Jericho,
a
man,
yeah. He
my
is one of the
favorite shit.
goats. More on him later, but he is
Nice.
a top 5. He is a top 5 mic worker. I will say that,
Oh fuck,
in my opinion.
absolutely. One of the best mics.
Mike work, one of the best talkers in the
Yeah,
game, hands down.
absolutely.
We didn't even mention that.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, because again, with him, I'm more into like just the way he worked. That's what
yeah,
I loved about him.
right.
But yeah, his
Yeah,
mic, yeah,
absolutely.
is fucking unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm cheating with my number 18. I had to put two because this is my only female entry. So I couldn't pick between these next two because what they meant to the business, what they mean to the business. One of them's no longer around. One of them still is. So I'm talking about Trish Stratus and China.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're my number 18. I had to put them together. I couldn't pick at the end. So I'm kind of cheating with this one because I mean Trish Stratus has always been my favorite women's wrestler.
Okay. That's
Always.
fair.
And before her, there was China,
Oh, absolutely.
who, she rest in peace to her. She's no longer with us. They there's stories out there about, her mental illness and just the shit that certain people put her through that really fucked her up. And that's why I had to put her on the list. And plus her in-ring work was fantastic. I mean, she was carrying people larger than her left and right in the
Oh,
Attitude
absolutely.
Era. So that she was in the Rumble a
Yeah,
couple
she
times,
worked in the dudes
and
and stuff, man.
yeah, she held the IC title with Chris Jericho at one point. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
her work with Chris Jericho was great, and then Trish Stratus. I mean, her name speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
It was always Trish Stratus and Lita growing up. I love Lita. Sadly, she wasn't on my list, but I could put her here. It could be three, but
Yeah,
yeah, Trish
throw it in
Stratus
there.
and China.
Okay,
My number 18.
fair enough. To just double on that myself, I didn't put any women on my list, so fair
Yeah,
enough. If I had to, and if I would say, I would actually have to go with just modern era chicks, man, because I think it's come such a long way as far as wrestling goes. I would say
they
Charlotte
have.
Flair. Charlotte Flair to me is the greatest women's wrestler ever. but quickly becoming surpassed by Rhea Ripley. I don't know if you've ever seen any of her matches.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
tell you now, watch for anyone else, watch Rhea versus Charlotte Flair in the two WrestleMania matches they did. And it's like some of my favorite matches in general. I think
Yeah.
their matches are as good as any dude's matches are. And God, so good. I think give Rhea a little time and she'll probably be the best ever. But
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think Charlotte's the best. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, and he automatically starts saying, "Oh, it's because of her dad." I honestly don't think so. Like she really put the work in. She's fucking fantastic, and I think
Technical
she's
wrestling, she's
miles
one of the
better than
best.
anyone that's ever been a women's wrestler until then. Shout out to Bailey too. But anyway,
I miss Hugger Bailey. I just got to put that
oh,
out there.
all
So
right. Me too.
yeah, the ponytail,
Mm,
the one ponytail. Yeah, I miss
yeah,
that Bailey.
yeah, me too.
Bailey got cake. Moving on.
Oh boy, Bailey got back. Anyway, number 18. My number 18 is another guy who fell out of favor with me just a little because of his AEW run, but I get he's coming from a good place, and he's another one of my favorites. Uh, had to retire early, but was able to come back, and I'm talking about the Rated R superstar and Edge, man. I like Edge a lot. His early '98 years, the Brood, man, him and Christian, the solo
And Gangrel,
stuff, Gangrel, yep. Great
Edge and
great talent
Christian.
until his in-ring retirement had to happen and stuff. And I remember the night he retired, watching it, man. D was so upset, dude. We're like, oh my God, he had to quit. This is so fucked up. And you go to the 2020 Raw Rumble when he came back. I think it's like the greatest wrestling return of all time, man. That pop he got for coming back, dude, was so cool. And it was just so
Yeah,
awesome to see, you know.
yeah. I
Followed
mean, he.
by, again, hear him a bitch about AEW. So you take a guy that had to have an early retirement at like 20 or 30, and instead of taking care of him, they got him jumping off the top of cages and ladders and shit. He breaks his leg. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ. He should be out there teaching these
Exactly.
cats how to do cool stuff that he was so great at. And instead, he's jumping off of shit like those fucking morons. And now he's sitting at home doing nothing again. The way to fucking go,
Yeah.
Edge. But so fuck you, Tony Khan, you fucking moron. But
Yeah.
other than that, going back to the late '90s and the early 2000s, man, and I just Edge was so great, dude. Can't deny the talent there. He got a little mixed up in the Attitude Era stuff. I wasn't such a fan of, and I know you probably were talking about Lita and the whole
Yeah. No, I
the
wasn't
whole
a fan of
fucking
that.
him fucking in the
That was a
ring and
lot.
shit was just stupid. But
That was after actually. That was ruthless aggression, like
yeah,
towards the end of
yeah,
that
okay,
run.
fair enough.
That was much later.
No,
No,
yeah,
I
it is
wasn't a
true,
fan of
right?
that.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been Attitude. He's not that old. But anyway.
He is part of the Attitude Era. Edge is part of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
I mean, the Brood.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Edge and Christian.
Right.
They did the
Well,
whole TLC thing against the Dudleys and the Hardys. I mean, he was
yeah,
around for
true,
all
true.
of
Yeah,
that.
he's been around for a long
Yeah,
time.
he's been around for
I was
almost
trying to
30
figure out
years.
when him and the
Jesus
Lita thing
Christ.
happened. Was what I was talking about, but the infamous scene with them in the ring.
This had to be like right around 2009, 10-ish, I think.
Really? It was that
So
late?
it's been a while. I think so.
I wasn't a fan of
Yeah,
it.
I was not a fan of that at all. No, but
No. But anyway,
solid
great
worker.
Edge when Edge is great, man. When Edge is great, he's fucking awesome. It was
Yeah,
always
his
one of my
spear is
favorite guys
fantastic.
just to watch and stuff. And again, the whole emotion of him having to quit and coming back was pretty awesome. So I was always a big fan of the dude, especially when he came back and stuff. I had a shirt that I've worn out, but big fan of that dude. I
Yeah,
love it. I love some good Edge, man.
yeah, his return was impeccable. Like the emotion on his face where he,
Fuck, dude, that pop was
yeah,
huge, man.
yeah, that was huge.
That shit was
Yeah,
awesome when he came back. That Royal Rumble was badass, dude, when he came back. It was so cool.
yeah, I remember that. I didn't see it coming either. So when it happened, I was like, oh
He
my
blew the
God,
place
what?
up. I had
And
heard
it
that
was
it
like
was
a 10-year
possible,
gap
so
from his, it was like a 10-year gap from his
yeah.
retirement to when he came back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
it
it
was
was a
like
long
9 years,
time.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So when he came back, I was like, oh, thank God,
Yeah, it
you
was good
know?
to see. It was good to see.
Yeah. Great worker for
One of the
sure.
greats,
Amazing.
love Edge.
Yeah. Radar superstar. Absolutely. So my number 17 was a guy that was in my top 10 for the longest time. He is, again, he's only low for what he did. If you know, you know. My number 17 is Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, if you know, you know. I'm not gonna get into that. It's public knowledge at this point. But
It
in ring work, one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time.
oh,
In the
absolutely.
top three, top five for sure, at least. If we're talking technical wrestling, Benoit's in the top five.
Yeah.
But we're just talking favorites. He was in the top 10. He was actually a number five for the longest time. But when we get to number five, you'll be surprised who surpassed him. But yeah, my number 17, Chris Benoit, the Radicals, his stuff in WCW, Malenko, Benoit,
Yep.
Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, and
Yeah.
Perry Saturn as well.
Very Saturn.
Four of the best in ring performers you'll ever see. Underrated stable too.
Yeah.
Shame WWE fucked them over.
Had
But in
a moment in
WCW,
one
they
of the
were
very
amazing.
late Four Horsemen. That
Yeah, yeah. In ring, they were fantastic. I mean, those guys,
was a
those guys
later
can
Four
fucking
Horsemen era. Was Chris Benoit was in
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'll take the
Um,
Radicals over the Four Horsemen. I know it's a little sacrilegious, but those guys were just
if you're talking about the newer one,
man.
fine.
Yeah, but we're talking Benoit and Eddie Guerrero alone. I mean, Perry
Yes.
Saturn I love, and
Yeah.
Malenko, the man of a thousand holds. Well, sadly, I'm not on my list, but of those four, Benoit's the best one. Always has been.
Fair enough. We were
That's
talking
number
about it
17.
a bit, and I left him off my list. And not even because of all the mess. I kind of, like I was telling you, and I don't know if I told you then, but I kind of put him and Malenko in the same place, in
Yeah.
that they were so technical and so goddamn great and so perfect in ring that they would have to be number ones. Except that they just lacked character to me. I don't know what it is, and as I've said so far, I've only talked about wrestling, so they should be huge for me, but they just lacked like the charisma or whatever, the fucking character. Like they didn't have anything else to them except like, hey, I'm a great wrestler, which is fucking great, and they are the best at it.
Well,
Find
Benoit
anyone
was a
better than Chris
menace when he
Benoit?
talked.
Yeah, he had some good
When he did
promos.
the promos,
I know
he
Dean was
was
a lot drier for sure.
Dean was dry as fuck. He had no character. We talking about no character, Dean
Yeah,
Malenko for sure.
yeah. I always kind of put Benoit in the same place. Benoit can get fired up on
Yeah,
on Mike, but still, I don't know. I just kind of always put them both in the same spot where they just,
yeah,
for me, somewhere's in there, they just lack the character somewhat,
yeah.
and so they
If we're
never really
talking
quite made
characters,
my top 20. But you know,
yeah, Eddie definitely had the most character of all of
oh
them.
yeah, yeah, he had a character and
You
great
know,
moves
rest in
and
peace to
everything
Eddie.
else. You know,
Absolutely. And again, technical wrestling ability.
fuck yeah.
Great mic worker too. Yeah,
Yeah, if
fantastic.
we were talking greatest, it'd be a different
If we're
list.
talking best technical wrestlers in ring ability and all
Oh
that,
shit,
pure wrestling, yeah,
yeah,
they're up there. They're up there.
they would be the tops for me. They didn't even
They
make
would be
my
in the top.
list, but I kind of put them in that same place. They just lacked the
Yeah,
character for me back then, where I loved watching them, but they didn't really latch as like a favorite. I could
that
always watch them and
crossface
know,
alone,
yeah,
that crossface alone just put him in
fuck
the
yeah, dude,
top 20.
fuck yeah,
That
dude.
shit looked like it hurt.
Yeah, it probably would.
Oh yeah, you
He's
know, it's
laying that
like oh,
motherfucker in too.
bruh, and dude was strong. You know what I
Hey,
mean? You
yeah,
could
for a
like,
little guy, he's kind of small. That's a stout motherfucker though.
like 5'8", 5'10", dude was a beast. Holy shit,
Yeah,
you know.
totally, totally.
But yeah, that was number 17. So you're number
Solid
17.
as a rock. I'm gonna switch numbers right here. I'm actually gonna
Okay,
put one down and one up on the fly. I didn't realize I had it the way I do. My number
right on.
17, I'm gonna put a weird one here, but I love this guy. I'm gonna put in Al Snow. Y'all remember Al Snow? Everybody loves a little
The
head,
Job Squad.
right? Dude, real life helped Dan Severn train for UFC. He was in
Yeah,
ESC, he was in ECW, I mean, fucking Smoky Mountain, the 90, 97, 98. Snow versus Captain Jack shit was always killer, dude.
yeah,
Another one of those guys that behind the scenes has done so much in training and stuff that most people don't even know. Fucking hilarious, man, in ring. He got to be somewhat of a comedy guy, which a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff. But I don't know why.
yeah,
I always loved Al Snow, and he's one of those guys that was a good mix of like being comedic and being goofy and shit, but was also just really fucking good. Like all that
yeah.
goofy
He was
shit
good,
ended when the bell rang. Like, dude was a solid worker. you know,
and he knows wrestling too
he's a
to this day. Like
fantastic
he
wrestler. He's
knows.
trained so many
Yeah,
people.
a
a
lot of people, a lot of
lot of
people.
people. And even like I said, real life, like UFC taught Dan
Oh
Severn.
yeah,
That's fucking wild.
yeah, yeah. People that are currently wrestling now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Al Snow is still a big part of training people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
I feel like he deserves some credit for that. You'll find that to be a lot of the people I have high ranked in my top 20 in general. A lot of them are people that like were real important behind the scenes too. They're just
Yeah.
that good, you know. Like I said, with Sheamus and all these other people, man. But Al Snow, dude, what a fun guy. It was so fun to watch. And, it was just
Yeah.
great. And the fucking
Yeah.
head, man.
Head. What does everybody want?
Oh, I love Al Snow. He had this fucking name on his forehead. What a goof.
Yeah.
My God, was
Backwards
he?
too, right?
Yeah,
Help
exactly.
me.
Yes. Oh, and God, I love Al Snow. He was
Shit
such a
was
goof.
awesome.
God damn, that when the bell ring, though, man. Oh, he was tight. So good in ring.
Yeah.
Monster.
Yeah.
Love Al Snow.
Great. Not on my list, but shout out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Al
it's a
Snow. I
weird
love
one.
Al Snow.
It's a
I love
weird
it.
one.
No, I love him. If we're talking again, people like
Yeah,
greatest masters of the business, like greatest brains,
absolutely.
most knowledgeable,
Yeah.
yeah, just knows the business, like just pure wrestling. Yeah, Al Snow.
I have
For
a
sure.
lot of those on my list too, because that's just shit I
Yeah.
love, man.
Yeah. There's some people on here that will surprise you too, but yeah, Al Snow's he's like the foundation for
Oh,
all of
yes.
this.
He's
The guy that doesn't get credit but should, because without him, you wouldn't have a lot of these people
absolutely.
that we know and love, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I agree. My number 16 had one of the greatest quotes of all time at his Hall of Fame induction, dude. Hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Fucking egg.
My number 16 is the late great fucking. Oh, man. God damn, man. Rest in peace to the bad guy, man. Fucking
The
Razor Ramon,
fucking
dude.
bad guy.
Dude, I wish I had him higher, but man, I could not leave Scott Hall. NWO, the fucking Wolfpack. I mean,
There you
Razor
go.
Ramon, WrestleMania 10, his match against Michaels for that IC title. Shit was amazing. You know, he had the Scott Hall strut when he walked in. He was just cool. He just oozed
Chico.
cool. Yeah, Chico, exactly. The toothpick. Met him 3 times at
my
some meet and greets,
my sister
and
met him quite a few times when they would go out to watch wrestling
nicest
shows
guy in the
often.
world, dude.
Yeah, she had nothing but great things to say. They'd never pay for a drink around Scott Hall.
Yeah,
uh,
nicest guy in the world. He turned his life around because there was a
yeah,
point where he almost died,
yeah,
and then a certain person saved him, which we may or may not get into if you want.
yeah.
But
Oh man,
number yeah, Scott Hall, the NWO alone. I mean, he's legendary. The
great.
hair, just great. The Razor's
This,
Edge,
yeah, oh, what a finisher!
dude.
One of my favorite finishers.
Ah, his match against Austin in WrestleMania 18. I mean, he's got so many classic matches people don't know about. I mean, we can go back to Starcade,
Fuck yeah, dude.
Monday Night Nitro,
Oh,
watching the NWO every week. Watch turn between the back then when we had TNT. I don't know if you had TNT in your area back then.
mhm.
Yeah, TNT. Watch Monday Night Nitro, and then you turn on to what was it? I think it was. I can't remember what network it was. Monday Night Raw.
I don't know who had Raw back. The
Damn, man.
USA?
I think it was USA. Yeah, it
I don't
was
know.
USA Network. Yeah, it had to be USA Network.
I'm not sure
I
if
didn't want
USA
to
is
say
that
it because
old in
I
my
wasn't
head.
sure. No, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a long time. Yeah, USA Network, Monday Night Raw, back when Raw's War was great, and then start Monday Night Nitro. Scott Hall, man, the late great.
Well,
Rest in
this is a
peace.
great time to say my number 16 is Scott Hall.
This was not discussed, mind
Is this,
you.
yeah, and I just switched it because I had him at 17, but I'm like, no, I should put Scott Hall at 16 above Al Snow at
Yeah,
least. So
yeah,
I have Scott Hall / Kevin Nash because again, together they were one piece to me. They always were, even before the Wolfpack. It was just always them two dudes, man. And
yeah. The dynamic duo.
NWO in itself meant a lot to me. We already discussed. We were talking together, man. Fuck Hulk Hogan, but
Yeah, fuck Hogan.
but
Sweet
but Hulk Hogan turning heels is one of the greatest fucking wrestling moments in history, dude.
Hollywood
It
Hogan,
was
dude.
so
Let's
fucking
talk about it.
awesome, dude.
Let's talk about it.
I
Let's talk
love
about
that
it.
shit, man. When he
Yeah,
turned heel, I was like, holy shit, like this is cute. I was never a fan and I didn't care, but that shit was huge to watch people that were that big of a fan cry. Oh,
black and white Hollywood Hogan, dude.
so good, dude.
That's different from real
So
American Hulk
good.
Hogan.
Find
Yeah,
anyone in the world who has more charisma in the ring than Scott Hall. I dare
yeah.
you. Sadly, towards the end and later on, he was doing bad and stuff. Me and my wife was just watching random shit on wrestling sometimes, as we do. And I ran into a Survivor Series where he was just fucked up. He had no idea what he was doing out there. That's one of the ones where he had the two rings, remember?
Yeah.
Where he had two rings. He had no idea where he was at. He didn't know what the fuck there was two rings there for. He was all fucked up. He's like, what the fuck am I doing? He had no idea how to work the match. It was awful. So there was those times, but still, even when he was a mess, it's whatever. But like I said, thankfully he turned himself around and got better. And
fuck it, I'll just make my the NWO. I'll make my number 16.
That's kind of what I was doing.
That's literally you can't. Yeah, you.
I'm gonna give it to Scott Hall because I want to give it to Scott Hall. But this is my love letter to the NWO.
I can't leave out Big Sexy. Can't leave. Fuck it, I'll just throw the Wolfpack in at number 16 too.
That's exactly what I did.
The whole King Caboodle.
That's exactly what I did.
The NWO and Wolfpack. That's my number 16.
That's pretty much what I did. But I'm technically, because we're talking favorite wrestlers, I'll give it to Scott Hall. But this is where I'm talking NWO, and because the NWO is everything to me. And you were talking about flipping back and forth. To be honest with you, I didn't. I was really, really a WCW guy. If you're watching the video, as you can tell, and that's why I have it back there. I was a WCW guy. I was not really big into WWF until I had to be, and there was nothing else. And when pay-per-views would happen, I go. Me and my friends would pitch in, and like we'd all go to his mom's house, and she would buy the pay-per-views, and I'd watch the pay-per-views mostly. But regular Raw, I really didn't watch that much. I was a big WCW guy.
Oh, Raw, you missed out. Raw was lit back then, dude.
I know. I saw a lot of it, but
oh my god, Raw was lit. But we won't get into. Yeah, I wasn't. I was secretly a WCW fan too, but because they had.
I'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, NWO and Wolfpack, they're so good. Both their themes are hard as shit. So
spoiler alert, I'm fucking old.
We're both
I like old school shit, and WCW was old school, man.
I was around for that too. What you mean?
Raw was fucking Jerry Springer, and that's fine, but like I want wrestling, man.
Yeah, I remember the Monday Night Wars, like I said. I like them both for different reasons, but there was one factor that made WWF much better, but we'll get into them much later.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. So yeah, NWO Wolfpack, that's our number 16. Surprise. We're including Sting in that. We're including X-Pac, Scott Hall, of course, Big Sexy, Kevin Nash, Hollywood Hogan, the best version of Hogan. Like, I agree 1,000% with you. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Number 15 is a patron saint. As a wrestler, he came in late in the game, a WCW guy. I think he was or wasn't part of the NWO. He probably was for a little bit. Then he turned his back. Like
everyone was. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 15 is.
No.
Bang!
Bang!
Yo, it's me. It's me. It's DDP. Dude, Diamond Dallas Page. Yeah. I mean, I can go DDP yoga all day, every day. The lives he saved. Yeah. They should give him the Nobel Peace Prize just for that. But we're talking wrestling. Before that, he came into wrestling at almost 40. He was like 35 when he first came in. Picked it up right away. Became one of the best guys. Probably my favorite guy from the WCW era. I love Diamond Dallas Page. Dude, the Diamond Cutter, the whole, Yeah. I love Dallas, man.
Interesting.
Dallas Page is fantastic.
He was.
When he joined the NWO, and
that's way later. Yeah.
He hit Nash with the Diamond Cutter. Yeah, man. He took them all out and shit.
Yeah.
I love Dallas, dude. Diamond Dallas Page, that's my number 15.
It's very good. He's not on my list. Not on my list. But I respect the shit out of him. I always loved his matches. I don't know what it is about that dude. He just looks dirty no matter what. I don't know what it is about that guy. My wife has this saying when she watches some of my bands and stuff. She says he looks like he stinks. And I don't know why, but DDP always made me think of that.
He looked like he don't shower.
Even like fresh out of a shower, he looks dirty. I don't know what it is with that. Not that it matters. It's just one of those things. But no, in ring again. Can't ask for better. DDP was fantastic. I always enjoyed his matches. He wouldn't show up in my top 20 if we did a top 30 or something, maybe he would, but respect the hell out the man. Great guy. Got to give him that.
Dallas is my guy, man. I love DDP.
Fucking A.
That was 15. You're number 15.
Very good. Oh, wow. This is a weird one, I guess, in a way. I don't know if many people would have this dude. But going back, this is again, I'm old, man. Old NWA, old WCW. This dude was a fucking monster. Again, this goes back, man. I'm gonna mention my sister here a lot too, because she was just so into wrestling. I ended up absorbing it between her and my dad and all that. My sister was massive into wrestling, and this was her guy at the end, right? And so I seen every match, whether I wanted to or not. It ended up being special to me in the end of it. So my number 15 is going to be Lex Luger. You know, because Lex is just such a monster. He was a bodybuilder, didn't know shit about wrestling, came up in Florida, and he would eventually learn and be really great, could sell. He was good. Him again, when he kind of does the thing back and forth with the NWO, fucking, I'm sorry, the goddamn Four Horsemen.
WCW?
Yeah, the Four Horsemen stuff. Yeah, man, their early stuff. I don't know. What can I say, man? The torture rack. It was just great. He was just a monster, a big motherfucker, dude. What a physical being he was to behold. Sadly, you know, again, we all know later, him and Miss Elizabeth, it all ended badly. And to see him now is just insane to see what he is now compared to what he used to be. But you know, turned it around as much as he could, I'm sure. Speaking of DDP, I don't think he had anything to do with that. But for a guy turning his life around, much too late, sadly, but it is what it is. And it's a sad state of affairs to see Lex nowadays. But going back, you know, you could say he had some matches here and there. I don't know. Again, if we were talking about greatest wrestlers ever, I don't know if he'd be on it. But just out of pure nostalgia for me, just watching those old Lex Luger match, I always liked Lex, man. He's special to me.
And he co-won the Rumble once.
Yeah.
He co-won the Rumble with another guy, which we'll get into, maybe. Yeah, physically one of the most gifted dudes ever. I mean, he was jacked.
Yeah,
oh my god,
jacked to the fucking skies. Yeah,
I remember seeing him as a kid. I was like,
him was Warrior or something, but that's about it.
Yeah, I remember seeing him as a kid. Like, I want to look like that.
Yeah,
but you got.
There's no way.
No way. I love pizza too much. Anyway, my number 14 is the Big Red Machine, Kane.
All right,
dude, Kane. Talk about jack motherfuckers, him jumping off the top rope. I've never seen a big guy jump off the top rope like that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he can move for his big.
One of the most athletic big men I've ever seen. Probably the most athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, his rivalry with X-Pac was classic with the DX. Great in the Attitude Era, of course, The Undertaker. You had his rivalry with, I mean, when he took off the mask, you know, he had a run, which was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Ruthless Aggression, Kane. Intimidating motherfucker. He used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. 7 foot, over 300 pounds. Dude was, talk about jacked. Massive guy.
A massive.
But he's so good in the ring.
He was good.
He's so good in the ring. The pyrotechnics is great. You know, with the late great Paul Bearer, to rest in peace. Yeah, Kane. I mean, enough said. He's the mayor of I think Knox County, Tennessee now.
He is the mayor of Knox County.
Yeah, Knox County.
Not sure if most people will agree with him. Maybe watching this, but if you do, that's good.
No, we're talking about pure wrestling. Yeah, we're not talking politics. Pure wrestling.
He has moved on to doing a political career. That's cool. And,
yeah. More power to him. But as far as wrestling, I mean, before that, he was just a big red machine.
So. Gotta acknowledge that. I kind of lumped him into some other stuff.
Yeah.
But much love to Kane. Not against that.
That was
unmasking was fantastic. When he takes the mask off, and it's just like, what the fuck? Man, it was one of the worst unmaskings of all time, but at the same time, the lead up to that was like the best.
Yeah, he was taking motherfuckers out left and right after he took the mask off, dude. Oh man. Yeah, he was taking people out.
He had to. Because that was just not well done, sadly. But what could you do?
I prefer Mask King, but his maskless run where he was just annihilating people.
That was great. Yeah, absolutely.
That was great.
All
You're
right.
number 14.
14 is Big Van Vader.
Vader.
Big Van Vader,
Rest in
man.
peace.
Old AWA, 85 to 87. The old WCW 90 to 95. That's what I would have been watching. Him versus Sting, Flair, him and Cactus Jack. Man. Again, another monster. Just as a kid, I thought he was scary. not,
Yeah.
not like in the Undertaker scary way. Just like this dude is insane.
Oh yeah.
And again, another one. This is actually one of the things I wrote in my notes for such a big guy, and like in this case, just like a big, almost fat dude. Like he could move, man. He's an agile motherfucker in the ring. Great worker. Yep.
The
Van
Vader
Vader
bomb
could do some shit. Yeah, he could do some shit in the ring that most dudes that big would not be able to do.
Oh yeah.
Very agile cat in the ring, man. And I just loved him. Just crazy motherfucker, man. He looked like a big biker bastard.
Rest in peace, Big Van Vader. Yeah, it's sad Vader, how a lot of these guys are no longer with us. It's unfortunate.
Man, my top 5 is a mess.
That's another thing, man. People saying it's fake, like we don't know, but yeah, some of these people died in the ring. Some of these people died because of what they did in the ring. It's shit is no joke, man.
It's what we all know is the misconception of what fake means. As we will all say, like predetermined, yes, fake,
yes,
no.
Those body injuries are real, man.
Are they really, punching each other and shit out there? No. Are they, assisting each other in some of these moves? Yes. Is that Matt fucking soft? No, especially if we're talking the old fucking Mid-South days and all those shit,
dude. That ECW ring, you go tell them if that's
they were
soft
cheap. Yeah, they didn't have those fucking fancy rings.
No, that's plywood, dude. That's hard plywood.
Just barely matted plywood.
Yeah, barely.
And those old Mid-South days might have been even harder.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette could tell you about them fucking Mid-South rings and how horrible those goddamn things. Jim Cornette actually has a lot to do with the modern construction of rings. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He actually had quite a bit to do with making those better because he's like, fuck this. Yeah. But fuck, dude. You say it's fake all you want. Is it predetermined? Yes. Are they assisting each other? Yes. Are they punching each other? No. But is the shit real? Man, this shit's hard. And there's still a lot of body shit out there happening that you couldn't do.
Facts. Rest in peace, Big Van Vader. He wasn't on my list a little before my time, but
I would imagine.
I caught him towards the end.
I would understand that. But he was huge for me, man, when I was a kid. Fuck yeah, dude, Van Vader.
Yeah. Agility is definitely the word I would use.
Yeah, again, for such a block of a motherfucker, dude. He was a fucking cat on his feet, though, man.
Makes you wonder if guys like Samoa Joe looked at Vader and thought, a big guy, if he could do that, I can do that.
Yeah, Samoa's great, dude.
Yeah. Dude.
Great.
That's great a whole nother episode.
Yeah, great worker. I wish he went to better.
He's not on my list, but
that would have been
he's great.
Yeah, I wish people would have used him better across the board.
He was great in TNA. Amazing.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah. Once he got bigger, no one knew how to use him.
Yeah,
because by then Vince was losing his fucking mind. He didn't know how to use him, and then he went to AEW, which is even fucking worse.
Yeah, they turned him into a joke, but TNA was great.
Yeah,
that was peak Samoa Joe.
Anyway,
but I digress.
Van Vader,
number 13, man, Mr. Extreme himself. Talking about Jeff Hardy.
Okay,
one half of the Hardy Boys. I could throw the Hardy Boys in here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do Jeff Hardy. So. Jeff Hardy.
No one cares about Matt. I'm sorry, Matt.
They did him dirty with the whole Edge and Lita angle. They fucked him over big time.
That shit was real. That was real.
Yeah. But think about it for a second. So I'm just going to say this between the whole Edge, Matt, and Lita triangle. Edge and Matt are now married. They have families and shit. Who ended up alone in the end? I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but
yeah. Number 13 is Jeff Hardy. So in the Attitude Era, those TLC matches were amazing. Yeah. When he came to TNA, I was watching TNA back when they were doing the pay-per-views at the TNA Arena. I think it was in Miami or Orlando. Long before the Impact Zone and shit. When he came into TNA, it was amazing. He was in TNA for a little bit. You know, he's had his demons and shit. He's been some classic matches,
Definitely.
but I put him in here because of his TNA heel run.
Okay.
For the longest time, he was one of my favorite wrestlers. He used to be my top 10, but he's dropped
Okay.
down a little bit.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see him heel, and TNA made that come true.
Yeah.
When he aligned himself with Hogan and Bischoff, they turned him heel, and that angle was so good. Like I was like, damn, he became cryptic. This has nothing to do with the whole broken angle and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Willow shit.
Nah.
That
Yeah, that
Willow
sucks.
shit,
Yeah, it
yeah,
sucks.
terrible. That broken Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy shit, yeah, get that shit out of here. But his
Yep.
heel run, amazing. One of the best heel runs I've ever seen in any company.
Nice.
Jeff Hardy, yeah, Mr. Extreme himself, one of the best high flying wrestlers I've ever
Oh,
seen.
absolutely. Yeah. My wife's favorite.
Yeah,
My wife loves Jeff Hardy.
I'm surprised he's still alive, but considering all the
He's
drug
trying.
usage, considering the drug usage and him
Yeah.
jumping off 50
Yeah.
feet in the fucking air,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's another one of those things again where goddamn it, I'm end up bitching about AEW. But man, like the WWF E was trying to take care of the guy. Like they brought him back. They got him somewhat straight. They're trying to keep him out of doing dumb shit because when he does dumb shit, he needs pain pills and then he goes downhill. And like, dude, straight up walked off in the middle of a match in WWE, just fucking left, like just said fuck it in
yeah,
the middle of the shit and walked away. And everybody's like, "What the fuck?" It kept going, and then like he never came back and showed up in AEW. What did they do? First thing they do, got him jumping off ladders and all kinds of dumb shit. And then what happened?
yeah,
He got on shit, and guess what happened? Got more DWIs, and now his life was ruined. Good
yeah,
job. Could have took care of the man at all. You know,
yeah.
and again, it's why the motherfuckers frustrate me so much. But yeah, classic Jeff Hardy is fantastic. Like you said, you can't get a more high flying guy. He paid the ultimate price for it overall, sadly, but fucking fun to watch. You
And
know,
rework is fantastic. I
in
mean,
ring, yeah. Even without all the crazy stunts and shit he did, just his fucking work is so good.
yeah, the Swanton Bomb and Twisted Fate are
Oh,
two of the best finishers I've ever
so
seen.
cool looking, man. So
Yeah,
cool.
even though DDP is, he pioneered kind of. I don't think he invented the diamond cutter, but he pioneered it. A lot of guys took that after him
I mean, that was before
in
the
a way.
stunner and shit. So you know,
No, the diamond cutter,
I know, but it's still the same
because
shit. Fuck off.
the twist of fate is a variation of a cutter.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But anyway,
Fair
yeah, that's my number 13, Jeff Hardy. I
enough.
mean, he did the same shit in TNA where he wrestled Sting and he came into the match drunk or high as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. I
Sting,
remember that
yeah,
shit.
yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that live. That shit was like, oh my god,
Wow. Yeah, that was fucked.
yeah. Smoking a cigarette in the ring and shit. Oh man, dude, I was like, what is this guy
Yeah, didn't
on?
dude like refuse to wrestle him or something pretty much? Like he's like, I'm
Yeah,
not fighting this fucking dude.
it was like a 5 fucking second match.
Yeah, he's like, we're
Literally,
not
if
doing
that.
this, man. He's fucked. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sting
that was
squashed his
crazy.
ass.
I ended up
Yeah.
watching that, dude. That was nuts. I watched that
Yeah.
shit on YouTube years
Sting
later.
squashed that shit, man. Oh my god. I saw that live and shit was
Wow.
like, oh man.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
terrible.
crazy. Wow, that's good.
That was 13. No, you're number 13.
My number 13, boy, talk about a fucking mess of a human being.
Oh
One of the
boy, here
greats,
we
we
go.
talked about this guy a little bit, me and you. I think what he brought to the ring was more over than he ever was, but what can you say? I'm gonna go to Jake the Snake Roberts. Being old here. Come on, man. The Snake was cool. His mid if you want a cool one, February 2nd, 1985, Mid South. You can watch him debut Shawn Michaels. Him and Shawn Michaels have Shawn
Saw
Michaels'
that.
first
Saw
match.
that.
Dude, you know what happened? Me. Sometimes I have my drinking nights where I just drink and listen to music. But at the end of the night, when I'm eating and about to crash, I throw on old school wrestling, and I'll just put on some like whatever. And I threw up a random ass episode of Mid South one night, and that's what it was. I was sitting there like out
Yeah.
of my mind, like holy shit, this is the beginning of Shawn Michaels. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
But shit, man, Jake versus Steamboat, the Snake Pit, him and Rick Rude. Oh, dude. Which Rick Rude should also be on my list, but I'm gonna just mention him here. His
Rest in peace, Rick
WCW
Rude.
era, yeah, absolutely, man. Jake was a mess behind the scenes. His dark side of the ring is just fucking flooring. If you haven't watched that, that's wow. It gave us
Second chance at life. He's cleaned up himself a lot.
It gave us a look at what happened to that dude. And if you've ever heard anyone tell stories, again, go listen to Jim Cornette's podcast. He'll tell you a lot of stories about Jake just no showing everything. But
he was on the Joe Rogan podcast too.
I think. Yeah, Jake. What can you say? He was pretty solid in ring. Again, I think the Snake was more over than he'd ever be, but
invented the DDT.
Yeah, the DDT himself, man. Back when that was a finisher, and he was the guy.
Top 5 best mic workers of all time, probably.
Yeah, great mic.
Those
great
promos
mic, and
didn't even have to yell. Cryptic as shit. One of the best talkers. Love it, dude.
So I'm a kind of sneak Rick Rude in there with him right here too, because I loved him also.
And he put the Undertaker over too. A lot of people don't know.
Yep.
He put a lot of guys over. A
lot of motherfuckers over.
Undertaker, dude. Let's talk about it. Yep.
We're about to.
Yeah. Jake Roberts.
But Jake the Snake, man. What can you say?
Yeah.
Always loved him. When I was a kid, I was fucking fascinated. Shit was cool.
Yeah.
And again, so solid in ring. His fucking pacing, his build, the way you build the match and stuff. So smart in the ring when he wanted to be. Back when he gave a shit. But so good. Yeah. So good. And then the funny stories of him pissing off the Snake and shit and fucking with people. Yeah. Damn him traveling with that fucking thing. Good lord.
He put a certain guy over too who had a major impact on the business, but we'll get into that later.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah.
He put over a lot of people, man. He was
a lot of big people.
He worked a lot of people, man, and there's something to that,
And it's not just any old people. We're talking Hall of Famers.
If he would have been cleaner his whole way through, God, what a legend that dude. As legend as he already is. And his stuff in AEW don't even bother me. So that tells you. But like, if he just would have been cleaner his whole way through, man, like, God, what a fucking dude he could have been, man. And he already is such a legend, but imagine what he could have been, dude, if he'd have gave a fuck through half of it.
I think it was a good in-ring worker.
He's great.
I caught him towards the tail. I caught him towards the tail end.
Yeah. I saw some 80s and 90s shit, of course. That's where I loved him. So yeah, I saw the good years. If there was.
Yeah, I think I saw him right around WrestleMania 11, 12. I was first exposed to him. So a little later towards his run, but
yeah. Old Jake the Snake's cool, man. Some 80s Jake the Snake's fucking badass.
So glad he's doing well now. He's healthy, as far as I know.
Doing a lot better.
Yeah. Way better than he was.
I remember him talking shit about somebody no-showing something and everyone laughed. Like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway. Number 12. So I'm putting two people together because they were part of a stable. So it used to be only one person, but I included one person at the last minute because how could you not? So my number 12 used to be my favorite heel ever. He's dropped down quite a bit. My number 12 is two people. So Triple H and woo! The Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Oh.
What can you say about Ric Flair, dude? Styling, profiling, jet flying. I mean, Jesus Christ. Well, a lot of people put him as number 1, but Ric Flair, dude, Ric Flair towards the end of his career, like Evolution, he was great. When he was Raw general manager, he was great. When he came back, like during the Ruthless Aggression era, he was great. Triple H, when he was in DX, we're not talking about the Butler gimmick. We're not talking about that. But I talked about China when I talked about China. I was going to put Ric Flair and take Triple H off because Triple H fucked China. Did her dirty.
Yeah, he did.
We're going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. He fucked his way to the top. A lot of people say that about women, but
he did.
Triple H, let's be honest, he fucked his way to the top.
He did.
He's doing great as the boss now.
He is.
He's doing great.
Yes.
I'll give him credit. He's doing great. He's running the show.
Yep.
He's taking care of his people.
Yep.
But I'm going to keep him on because when he was forced to retire, because, I mean, he almost fucking died. You know what I mean? He almost died. Like Triple H, if he didn't go to the hospital, he wouldn't be here today. Like we'd be talking about a whole different thing. But his heel run,
Hey, would somebody
rivalries
be
with The
really cool
Rock,
and walk the dog for me, please?
his rivalry against Cactus Jack is one of the greatest rivalries of all time. Triple H's.
Absolutely.
That run was great. His rivalries against The Rock, his rivalries against Austin, against people in his like Shane shit. I mean, yeah, against the corporation at one point before he joined the corporation against the Ministry of Darkness. Yeah, and then Ric Flair again. It's fucking Ric Flair. I mean, he's
Well,
synonymous with wrestling. What
well,
can you say?
I'll be saying more a lot later.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna leave that to you, but Ric Flair is fucking Ric Flair. Enough said. You're number 12.
We'll be getting to that here eventually.
He should be higher, but there's some people that
Well, here's where I get you back for that because this one should be way higher, but this is sacrilegiously low, like Ric Flair at number 12. My number 12 is like a shot back at you for that, and I'm gonna give you the Undertaker at number 12. Crazy, I know, but again, fave's not best. I probably remember Undertaker, earlier than most when he was first starting. And I think a lot of my love for him is just fucking, like you said, Paul Bear. I fucking love Percy Pringle. Y'all really know. Oh man, I love Paul Bear. Oh,
yeah.
Undertaker.
The
And
late great Paul Bearer. One of my favorite managers
oh,
ever.
absolutely, absolutely, dude.
Paul
Absolutely.
Bearer, man, one of my
Great guy.
favorites.
Great guy. What a amazing dude.
Probably my favorite. Honestly, probably my favorite.
That's
I have to
fair.
think
Totally
about it.
fair. Great guy. Was actually a mortician and stuff.
Yeah, for real, for
But
real, for real,
that's
for
how they
real.
came up with that. And as a matter of fact, it's fun stuff.
It
Anyway,
wasn't an act. It was for real, for real. I
they
found
actually
that
did
out
that
later.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Kane and Undertaker, as you mentioned earlier, were just so good, man. Come on, dude. He's your brother. I love that shit so much. Oh, dude. Yeah, man.
Dude,
Kane,
he has.
but Undertaker himself, again, another guy behind the scenes. You can't get anyone more important than Undertaker at all.
Oh no.
There's no one more important
Oh,
behind the scenes than Undertaker. And you talk about the building block of wrestling after him. There's no one bigger than Undertaker.
nobody.
You
Nobody.
can talk about the streak and Mr. WrestleMania and everything else about him, whatever you want. But it just what a guy, man. He was way larger than life.
Zero haters.
Yeah,
Zero
it
haters.
can't be done.
There's no hate. There's no Undertaker haters.
No,
None.
can't do it.
Everybody loves him, no matter if you put him at 20 or at 12 or number
Yeah.
one. A lot of people put him as number one.
No, and then
I'll get into him
that's
later.
fair. Yeah, again, we're talking favorites, so I have people that's more important to me. But there's no way in hell I'd
Yeah,
leave him
me
off.
too.
No way
Me
in hell
too.
I'd leave him
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. There's no way you could leave him off.
dude is
No way.
just so important and so cool. The gimmick is it's hard to get past in a way because it's a little supernatural and stuff and kind of goofy here and there, but fuck it, dude. He made it work. There's rarely a bigger star, you know.
It's it's the Undertaker. He was in the company for 30 years, dude.
Yeah,
30
and he goes
years.
way back.
30 years, man. Who else can say that shit?
Yeah, way
People
back.
left after 5 years. People had to retire after like a couple years, It's 30 years is a long time.
Yep,
He debuted at Survivor Series, he retired at Survivor Series. It makes sense.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah. That happened too. Yeah,
he's one of the goats.
put a bunch of people over.
Yeah, literally.
It's so important.
And talk about safe workers, one of the
Oh,
safest
yeah,
people.
fantastic.
Super professional. The
I'm gonna
most professional
pause
guy.
for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back. Sorry, this would be your 12 or 11. I'm on 11 next, so I don't know where you're at.
I did my number 12. You were doing your number 12, I think.
Yeah.
Was The Undertaker, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my number 11. So
11.
my number, all right, number 11. So barely missed the top 10, but I mean, he's going back to the Ruthless Aggression era, probably the biggest face of that era, along with a couple other people. Number 11 is going to be the next big thing. It's going to be Brock Lesnar.
Oh, wow.
Dude, Brock Lesnar from 2003 to like 2006. You couldn't fuck with Brock Lesnar, man. God damn, in that era. We're talking WrestleMania 19. His rivalry with Kurt Angle was incredible.
Yeah.
His work with Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, amazing. Eddie beat Brock Lesnar. I remember when that shit happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he won the WWE title, that was like, oh my god! People were. I was cheering for him live on the fucking TV. Brock Lesnar, a big man that you want to talk about, a dude that could move in the ring. As far as technical wrestling, he's up there for sure. He has a wrestling background. I mean, he was an NC. He was a couple. I think it was in the NCAA at one point, and I mean, he just dude's athletic as shit. I mean, he's a part timer now. I get it, but he's made his bone. He's made his bones in the business, so he's definitely up there. And that F5, dude, that F5 is one of the most sinister looking moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The way he flings, like the way he flung the Big Show at some point, just let him go in the air. I was like, God damn. When he suplexed the Big Show and the ring broke the first time I saw that shit, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Brock Lesnar barely missed the top 10, but yeah, he's one of the best ever. At one point, he was the youngest WWE champ. Yeah. But yeah, number 11 is Brock Lesnar. That's my number 11.
I was not a big fan of Brock. I just never was. I get it though.
He can move in the ring.
Yeah.
Physically intimidating.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I was never really a big fan, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
Broke the streak.
He broke the streak.
Controversially enough.
Yeah, he didn't need it. He didn't need it.
I still feel like, and I think it's kind of been said, but kind of not. Taker accidentally kind of caught a concussion in the middle of that, and they had to end it. So that's just kind of. Although I've also heard that they were going in there planning to. So there's that, but I don't know. I've heard so much different stuff about it that they were planning to from the beginning, but I don't know. It seemed to me more or less that as things were going, Undertaker had no clue where he was. He got his fucking shit rocked.
Yeah,
and I feel like I feel like Brock just kind of did what he had to do with that, and it happened the way it did. It's fair enough.
Yeah, sadly, he didn't need it because he had done it all, in my opinion. At that point, he didn't need to do it. So, but that's
but Undertaker was fucked. He was doing bad. He was doing bad at that moment.
Yeah.
There you go. I wasn't a big fan of him, but I get it.
No, yeah,
it's all good. I feel like I'm a flip flop numbers. Oh, good lord, who's barking? Anyway, sorry, dogs. Shut up, you. I don't know what the fuck he's barking. He's never barked. This is the first time in history my dog has barked on camera. That's how I train
historical as shit, everyone.
I train my dogs better than this. I don't know what the fuck he's tripping on because there's no one in my house I don't know right now, and he's just acting a fool. He knows I'm recording. He's being an asshole.
Right.
But anyway, all right. I'm gonna fucking once again on the fly flip flop numbers here, and might get in trouble. God damn it! All right. I'm sorry, people. Hopefully we're okay now. Anyway,
we're back. Yay.
My number 11. I might go to jail for moving this guy out of the top 10 here in Louisiana. Because this guy just ran things when he was here and a big deal. My number 11 is going to be the Junkyard Dog, man.
I knew it.
I'm from Louisiana, the Mid-South years versus DiBiase and Jim Duggan and the one-man gang. And this is where my love letter to Mid-South happens. Oh, dude. Man, like the later years where he left, Mid South was not good, and a lot of people when I say Junkyard Dog is this high up is going to be like, what? You put Junkyard Dog over the goddamn Undertaker? But I'm telling you, go watch '80s fucking Mid South and tell me, dude, that dude was just massive here. I'm from Louisiana. You have to ask somebody. Junkyard Dog was a fucking. You talk about patron saints. That motherfucker's probably canonized down here, dude. Junkyard Dog's a big fucking deal. Just there's no
Rest in
bigger
peace to the
star at the
junkyard.
point, man. He was such a huge
Yeah.
deal, dude. I had him originally at number 10, but I'm a bump one guy above him just a little bit because he had a little more to do with the history I remember. Mid South for me was kind of like really early. I was really little for Mid South stuff. So I was a little kid for that. So I remember a little bit of it, but it's a little foggy. So I've heard more about him more than I've seen. And going back, of course, I realized how great he was. So he means a lot. But my number 11 is someone I saw a lot more of.
Yeah.
But I'm gotta give it to Junkyard Dog, dude. Come on, man. Him and Jim Duggan and stuff. And like I said, him and DiBiase, those old, really, really, really early Mid South years are fan fucking tastic, dude.
Grab them cakes.
Yeah, later, Junkyard Dog again, not good. I understand that. He was not great shape. He didn't give a shit at all.
Yeah.
He had lost it
Rest
by
in peace,
then
yeah.
and became a mess. But man, go watch some old Mid South in general.
Yeah.
In general, if you've never seen any of
Shame what
that old
happened.
stuff, man, subscribe to
A shame what
Peacock. We don't
happened
have
to him.
the WWE fucking what you call that, the goddamn
The
app.
network?
Yeah, the network. We don't have the network anymore.
That's on
Sadly.
Peacock.
Yeah, it's all on Peacock now.
Oh, it's all on Peacock. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I have
go
Peacock.
get Peacock and go watch some old Mid South
Yeah.
on there just all night. Oh, you'll be in a great
Yeah.
place.
I have Peacock. I was gonna say the network's on Peacock, so just get
Yeah, the old
Peacock.
network was
Oh,
better. The Peacock doesn't quite separate it as good.
yeah.
It's not as
Yeah.
it's not as maneuverable as the network itself used to be, but
Oh no, because there's a lot more on Peacock, obviously. So
Peacock is
the
nice.
network
But
is just part of it.
go watch some old Mid
Yeah.
South, man. I can't tell you enough how great Mid South was. My original background idea I had for this was Mid South, but I changed it because this is
Shame what
really my
happened to him.
love,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So Junkyard Dog,
WCW.
bro,
Now what?
Junkyard Dog.
The Junkyard Dog. I knew it was gonna be on there.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
not a
JYD's
surprise to me.
coming.
JYD. That was your number 11?
11.
All righty. So we're getting into the top 10 now. Okay, now we're getting to the nitty gritty. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. Now we're cooking with beef tallow or whatever the fuck you cook with. All right, number 10. So number 10 is a current guy. He debuted in the Rumble, but before that, this is where the hipster in me comes in. We're going to go to Mr. TNA himself for my number 10. My number 10 is the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Okay.
Dude,
Nice.
AJ Styles, you want to talk about gifted high flyers. He could do it all. I mean,
Nice.
he won it all in TNA. He was the face of TNA for years.
Oh,
he was the original. He was the original superstar for TNA.
Yeah.
From the beginning, from day one, he was there until, the company fucked him over. He was there for the longest, and they didn't show him that he was worth it.
Yeah.
So he went to the WWE. He went to ROH for a second, Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And then he made the jump to WWE when he was saying he didn't want to do it, but then he did it. He debuted in the Rumble, and he's doing well for himself now. He's,
oh yeah.
From what I hear, but before that,
Undertaker put him out on his way out. They put him over on his way out.
Put him over on his way out, absolutely. But before that, he was running the X division in TNA. He had the great rivalry with Jeff Hardy. He had the rivalry with, he had the whole Fortune gimmick with Ric Flair and a whole bunch of other people towards the end of his run in TNA. Dude was fantastic. One of the best high flyers I've ever seen. One of the best in-ring workers I've ever seen. And a Georgia guy too. Yes. I was going to say, he's a Georgia guy too. He's a Southern boy.
Yep.
So
the gay community.
No. Did
you ever hear about that? You ever seen that thing?
I almost lost. He almost got me. No. Yeah, AJ Styles, he's gonna stand the test of time. I mean, he already has. He's done it almost 30,
Ah, dude's
probably over 30
fantastic.
years at this
Fuck,
point.
he's almost on his way out, man, and that's gonna be something to see.
That's a shame.
He's
But he's
almost
so
on his way
good.
out of this, man. He still looks and wrestles
He still looks
fantastic.
great. He
He looks
still
like he
looks
has a
great,
bunch of
but
years in him, but he really don't.
yeah, he still looks great, but he's probably starting to feel it at this point.
Yeah, he's about on his way out here pretty
Yeah,
soon, I think. And
yeah,
I hope they
yeah,
do him right on the way out. I think H will.
yeah.
That's a good
I think
one.
so too.
I'm glad. It's another one I'm happy you picked, man, because he's fucking he is
AJ
phenomenal.
Styles he's so good, man.
He
He's
is
so good.
phenomenal.
His
Perfect word for himself. Dude's great.
TNA run's fantastic. It's mostly for that, but his WWE run's pretty solid too.
I didn't watch a whole lot of TNA, especially the later years of it. I really didn't. But I've actually
But yeah,
watched more of him in WWE than anything else, and I've loved it. That's where I
go
got more acquainted with him, and he's fucking awesome.
yeah,
God, is
go
he
back to
good?
his TNA stuff. He had a lot of classic matches with Jeff Hardy, I think with Ken Shamrock at one point,
Yeah,
Raven, a whole bunch of other people. A lot of people. A
I
lot of people.
think
He's been doing this for a long time.
if I'm not mistaken, I think the dude that co-hosts with Jim Cornette says the best match he's ever seen live was, I think he's saying AJ Styles and Seth Rollins back when he was Seth Black or whatever his name was in
Yeah,
TNA, I think, or something like that,
yeah, yeah. I remember that
or
match.
probably
That was
Ring of
great.
Honor maybe. But anyway, it's probably one of the best matches
Yeah,
he said he ever saw live. So there you go. But
yeah.
yeah, fuck
He's so
yeah,
good. He's so quick.
great
He's
pick,
yeah. He can do it
dude.
all. He
Yeah.
can do it all.
That's another one of those guys where he's a high flying, but doesn't have to depend on it, you know. And these days he
Yeah, he
really
reminds
don't
me.
have to. He doesn't at all. He's slowed down a lot because he's gotten older. You get to see that perfect
Yeah,
mix of both now. It's really great to see him now. Even
he reminds me of a guy that you have already mentioned, but I'm gonna mention him in my next pick. But I'll
fair
get to
enough.
him then.
Fair enough.
That's my number 10. Your number 10.
So my
Kraken,
number
get his
10.
top 10. Who
Well,
did you put over Junkyard Dog? Let's see.
we're gonna be getting pretty old from here on out. Just so y'all, not too old, but yeah, old enough for most of y'all probably.
Hacksaw
Uh,
Jim Duggan.
no, I kind of lumped him in with JYD. Is what I did. But in that same world, I guess, somewhat back in those days, this is where I'm going to mention Kevin Sullivan, man, the games master, the taskmaster. Fuck, only under 2 months ago he passed away. The Dungeon of Doom. Oh man, that dude scared the hell out of everybody. People really thought he was a devil worshiper that was sacrificing people. Like legit thought this dude was a devil worshiper and shit. And like on top of that, while running that gimmick, still had like the varsity club. You know, like
Oh,
what the fuck is
yeah.
that? And it was great because that's where I gotta mention, and this is where I'm gonna lump in some of my other favorites like Mike Rotunda, fucking IRS and shit. But Mike Rotunda started with Kevin Sullivan and fuck,
Erwin R.
Barry
Shyster,
Windham and
IRS.
shit. Yeah,
Oh my
Erwin
god.
R. Shyster. I
Yeah.
love, oh man, IRS really should be on my list somewhere, but I decided to bring him in here with Kevin Sullivan because I know he'd
Mhm.
appreciate that. And he would want it to be his Kevin Sullivan pick. So I love them both damn near equally. But
Yeah.
man, Kevin Sullivan was so cool. He was so fucking and another guy that I'm gonna say, you know, probably had more to do behind the scenes than he ever did in front of a camera. And what he did in front of a camera is legendary. He's booked so many fucking territories. He's had so much to do with writing and you know just training and so much of that stuff. Man, Kevin Sullivan is massive behind the scenes, and in front of the camera is even equally legendary. Man, you can't say much more than that. Uh, goddamn, yeah, and there's the ridiculous shit where people blame him for what Chris Benoit did, which is fucking stupid. But again, it all comes from how evil that character he had was. People really believe that shit. They're like, no, dude, he's a fucking devil worshiper, and he's the one that killed everybody and shit. Like, what the fuck? People really believe that shit. When
Oh
Kevin
yeah.
Sullivan passed away, I went to check comments because I knew it was coming, and it did. People
Yeah.
really still believe that shit, and I'm like, wow, Kevin Sullivan
They've
was
been
great.
people people
Kevin Sullivan was fucking good, man. He really had them
Yeah.
motherfuckers believing it now. He was so good. But
People still
no,
believe it now.
great dude. I mean, to be honest, and a lot of the shit he got was because of that, was because they said that he was, kind of abusive towards Nancy and stuff towards the end, but actually it was the opposite. She was a handful, dude. She beat his ass. He's the one that had her on domestic abuse charges and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
because she was just wow, dude. So Kevin was a great dude, and he gets a lot of heat in real life, but he was a really really good dude, and not perfectly innocent guy. He had his mess too. Don't get me wrong, but really good dude. So goddamn good in ring, and such a fucking cool character, and so much behind the scenes, man. He's another one of those guys that is so important to wrestling. You have no idea how much of what you see in wrestling was influenced by him. So R.I.P. to Kevin Sullivan, man.
R.I.P.
Just under a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I think in August,
August, yeah.
along with
Yeah.
another couple people on my fucking list.
Yeah. Yeah. More on those later.
Ugh.
Number
Been a couple of
9.
months
So,
if you're a fan.
oh yeah. Number 9.
Number
Number
nine.
9.
Number
Number
nine.
9. We do this all the time.
We do this every time.
My number 9 is the Swiss Army Man himself. So we mentioned the guy that reminds me of AJ Styles. This is AJ Styles before AJ Styles. You already mentioned him. I think it was your number 19 or 18. My number 9 is Chris Jericho.
Okay.
The Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Interesting. Yeah, fuck yeah, it is.
So here's why Chris Jericho is this high for me. Number one, one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time. Absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
One of the greatest talkers, mic workers of all time. For a lot of people, it might be number 1. I won't argue that. Why he's so high on the list? He's able to reinvent himself with the times. No matter if you like the gimmick or not, somehow, some way, he manages to stay relevant depending what era we're in. So
I would disagree with super current.
No, not super
general.
current. Up to a certain
yes.
To a certain
no, he
point,
did evolve over the years for sure. I will definitely give you that, and I didn't give enough credit for that. Up until I bitched about his current AEW shit, but up until then, he made himself get there. Yeah,
we're talking about real Chris Jericho, not the washed out Chris Jericho.
Fair. Fair. The learning tree, for fuck's sake.
Long story short, if you could describe him in one word, if I could describe him in one word, he's a chameleon, just able to adapt. Fair. Dude, I've never seen anyone adapt so well to whatever he's involved in, like Chris Jericho, man.
Yeah.
I mean, his in-ring work speaks for itself. Like I said, he's one of the best to ever do it. And he's got it all, man. Dude's charismatic as shit. Won't get into his music. I'm not personally a Fozzy fan personally, but a lot of people are a fan.
Sorry.
I've seen people mark over his Fozzy stuff. I get it. They would sing his theme when he would come on and shit.
Yeah.
I think he had the Judas theme at one point. People
that
crazy over that shit.
That's more over than
crazy over that shit. Yeah, that shit's way more over than he is. But he eats it up, man. And outside the ring, he's so charismatic. He's a metal fan, so obviously he's got to be up this high.
Fuck yeah.
Chris Jericho, that's my number 9 pick.
Very good. Like I said, if not for what I've seen in him, because I care so much, if not what I had seen since, he would have probably been that high for me. He would have been an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, Chris Jericho's high for me.
Oh, he would be. I fucking love Chris. Again, and I'm going back to the long hair Chris Jericho days. Oh man,
yeah,
so long hair. When he first broke out,
on the back.
When he first broke out, dude, he was so fucking good. I don't know if most of y'all are old enough for that, but when Chris Jericho first broke out, dude, he was fucking insane.
Oh, when he made the jump from WCW to Monday Night Raw, people went ape shit, man. I went ape shit.
And even when he first
got his WWF kid,
he was great.
No, I mean long hair back.
I know, but I'm saying like
the ponytail that would go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I thought it was a chick for a second. I was like, oh, that's a dude.
No, he's so
Chris
good.
Jericho.
And even when he first cut his hair, like you said, when he reinvented himself there and cut his hair at first, man, he was great again. That's when he was really working Ric Flair and shit. But yeah.
Oh
man.
yeah. Rivalry with HBK and Ric Flair, dude. Oh my God, he's got so many classic matches. Forget about it. classic matches up the wazoo.
Yeah, dude, so good. I love Chris, man. I
The one
bumped
with
him
Shawn
down
Michaels
more than I
comes to
should,
mind.
but again, the rest of my list is so goddamn good. I had to
Yeah.
bump him down quite a bit, but
I urge everybody to go watch his match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 19.
oh,
It's one of the best matches you'll ever see in your life.
fuck yeah,
That
dude.
that was, in Jim Ross's words, a slobber knocker. That match
Shawn,
was
Shawn
amazing,
himself,
dude.
yeah, both of them are so
Oh
they're
my
so equal at
god,
that
dude.
point. Yeah,
That
I
match
agree.
was incredible.
Absolutely, that's
Forget
gonna be
about
a
it.
banger. Fuck
Oh,
yeah, dude.
number
All right,
9.
my number 9. Oh man, the master of the power bomb again.
I knew it. Knew
just
it.
just 2 months ago.
I
R.I.P.
knew it.
Sir. Good old Psycho Sid Vicious, dude. Monster. I remember watching wrestling with my brother when we watched him break his leg in the ring, and we were like,
That image is
oh.
kind of haunting to this day still.
But
Yeah.
this is going back to again. Besides WCW, Mid South was kind of a little early for me, but NWA and WCW was everything to me. That's where I really came up in wrestling, man. Old NWA. So him and NWA, the Skyscrapers, him and Danny Spivey, managed by Teddy Long, player.
Yeah. One-on-one with the Undertaker. I'll get into that later.
The Undertaker, player.
Undertaker player.
But the
I love Teddy Long.
Skyscrapers, you just got yourself a tag team match.
Remember when Teddy Long was a referee? Yeah, that's how you know
Yeah,
how long I've
exactly. I
been watching
do.
wrestling.
I do. That was yes.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
remember Teddy Long
True
being.
wrestling, true. That's how you know a
I
true
do
wrestling
remember.
fan, because you remember that shit.
I do remember Teddy
I
Long being
remember
a
that shit.
fucking referee
He
first.
was a referee. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember
Yeah.
that.
But
Early on,
according to
I love
Jim and a
Teddy.
lot of people, man, Sid Vicious behind the scenes was a nightmare to deal with. And that's what kind of stopped him from being as again for a legend that he was. It stopped him from being as much as he could have been.
Yeah,
But again, dude, him with Ric
great
Flair
promo cutter.
and so many people. The famous incident of him stabbing Arn Anderson with a pair of scissors. Two Cold Scorpio saved Arn Anderson's life by breaking it up because he was really about to fucking murder him.
He wanted the smoke for real.
Yeah,
He wanted the smoke.
Psycho Sid for real, dude. He was nuts.
Big ass dude too.
Dude was
Big ass guy, man.
massive. The Twin Towers. He
Massive
was
dude. Oh
huge
my
guy.
god.
He was so
Dude was
big, and he's a little clumsy in ring. This is why I say again, we're saying favorites, not greatest, because if I had the greatest in the ring, Sid Vicious is not coming up. But he was just one of my favorite dudes. He was just so big and just fucking insane looking guy, and
that power bomb though.
insane in real life, but absolutely, absolutely got the power bomb to be a thing back when the power bomb mattered. Oh, dude, when he power bombs somebody, it's fucking over. Not like the other guy they have now. He power bombs people 15 times. Fuck off. But you
The
know what I'm saying?
jackknife
Like,
gives the jackknife gives that power bomb a run for his money, man. That jackknife by Kevin Nash, that shit looked menacing too.
yeah, that was good too. Later on, yeah, I give Kevin. I
Yeah.
love Kevin Nash, man.
But before that, we had Psycho Sid,
Psycho Sid is the one that laid it down, dude.
Yeah.
I just always loved Sid Vicious, man. And again,
No, I
sadly,
love Sid too.
here very recently passed away. Never got into the fucking Hall of Fame in time, which is a goddamn shame. They're probably gonna do it now that he died, which is bullshit. But
yeah, that's bullshit.
what can you say, man?
That blows my mind how he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's not on my list, but I do have a story involving him and another guy much later on. We'll get into it.
Very good.
That was it. Yeah. Rest in peace, Psycho Sid.
Psycho fucking Sid,
Yeah,
dude.
Psycho.
Best power bomb in the fucking business.
Right on, man. Number 8, dude. Oh my God. You want to talk about you want to talk about wrestling? You want to talk about hardcore wrestling? What this guy means to hardcore wrestling? Dude, number 8 is Mick Foley, man.
Okay. Wow, that's low.
And Mick Foley, you're gonna see why, because the people coming up,
wow,
the people coming up actually mean something.
Interesting.
I struggled putting him this low. Trust me, I wanted to put him higher. This is as high as I could put him. 8 is really good though.
Wow.
Here's Three Faces of Foley. Ready? Here's how
No.
I rank them. Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love. I love Dude Love. Cactus Jack had Triple H. Mankind had The Rock. Dude Love had Austin.
Yeah.
Mick Foley is classic. His New Japan Wrestling shit, incredible wrestling in barbed wire is Cactus Jack, NWA, of course. The WWF, him coming in the Rumble. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. I love Dude Love, dude. Him coming in the Rumble 3 times as each face. He entered in as Cactus Jack, then he came in as Mankind, then Dude Love towards the end. Classic. Mick Foley is wrestling, and he's a #1 New York best-selling author as well.
Yep.
Mick Foley really is God. That name is synonymous with wrestling, and he's a sweetheart.
Absolutely. Can't get any better person.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get a better person than Mick Foley. A lot of these guys are good guys in real life, but Mick Foley is the cream of the crop.
Absolutely.
As far as saint, a saint.
Absolutely.
It's him and Diamond Dallas Page. They're like neck and neck
Absolutely.
because they're both saints. Give them a Nobel Prize to both of them just because they exist.
Yeah.
They've done so much for wrestling, of course, but outside of wrestling,
to give what a sweetheart he is, Mick Foley hated he was worried about the Dude Love character because that's the only character that didn't do hardcore shit. And Jim Cornette has told this story before where he was like, he went to Jim. He's like, man, I just don't feel like it's enough. I don't feel like people are gonna go to it because it's not enough. And he's like, dude, people like care about you. Like they don't want to see that shit, even though you do it and it's what they almost expect. It's like still like people love Dude Love because you got to see Mick Foley not kill himself. And he was actually literally worried about that because he's like, man, I just don't feel like I'm doing enough as this character. And he's like, no, dude, you don't get it. It's like
Dude Love is great. It's
people get to see you like just wrestle, dude. That's what you're really great at, and he embraced it some, but not as much as the other characters.
Yeah. But his Cactus Jack work is just, oh my God, man.
I almost wore that shirt tonight, but it'd been too obvious.
Yeah, I almost wore mine too. It's in the wash. I wore it the other day. Man, Cactus Jack is just. I won't even get into it. His stuff with Terry Funk, his rivalry with Triple H, Mankind with The Rock and Sock connection, Dude Love with Austin, putting him over towards the beginning before Prime. Austin went into his prime. I'll get into that later.
We'll talk about Mick Foley's
number 8. Yeah, we'll talk about it plenty. Number 8 is Mick Foley. I wish I could put him higher.
That's okay.
But these next 7 mean the absolute.
That's of course. Favorites, man. Favorites.
Yeah, he is top 10 though. Don't get it twisted.
Absolutely.
He is top 10.
Absolutely.
Mick Foley's top
10. My number 8 may be a surprise for people, only because once you know me, you're like, well, yeah. But like, I think most people just forget he existed. But again, one of the best on the mic ever. Killer in ring. Trains people to this day. So important, man. But people forget he existed. I'm going, my number 8 is Raven. Oh man,
you just missed my top 20.
Oh, dude, look. The early 90s WCW, his WWF, his ECW across the board, dude. Loved his style. Dude's like a literal member of Mensa. Like he's an actual genius. Straight up smart dude. Always was one of my favorite characters. I mean, you just get up there and just sit in the fucking corner of the ring and shit.
Sit in the ring, yeah. Oh my God.
Just sit in the fucking corner and give a fuck. He was one of those dudes that was like a fucking grungy metalhead motherfucker, and shit.
Very smart guy. Very smart guy.
Like I said, literal member of Mensa. He's like at an IQ of what a number I can't even pronounce. And
like 160 something. Dude is like borderline genius.
Yeah, he's a
dude.
Really smart guy.
He's a very smart guy.
He's trained a lot of people. He's very active behind the scenes of wrestling and stuff. Another one of those guys that has more influence in wrestling than you've ever realized. You forgot about him because he's just come in there and sit in the fucking corner and like, man, what a great mic. What a great mic skill. In ring was fantastic. And just one of my favorite characters overall. This is one of those ones that I'm like, he was probably more of a character than he was in ring, but his in ring was fantastic too. But
Probably the greatest hardcore wrestler ever, in my opinion.
yeah,
Probably he's
a
up
lot
there.
of hardcore stuff, a lot of
Yeah.
just. But and you know what? I'm not really as much familiar with this hardcore and ECW as I was with the WCW
Classic,
area and stuff of him just wrestling, dude.
classic rivalry with DDP, in my opinion. No, his
Yeah.
rivalry with DDP is fucking brilliant.
Yep.
It's like yin and yang.
That's what
Because
I'm
Raven had the
saying,
hardcore
dude.
wrestling approach, and Dallas was just he was so good in ring too. They both complemented each other. He had a great run in TNA. I agree. I wish I put him on this list. He
A
used to
lot
be in the
better.
top 10.
Cold water.
A lot better.
Now I don't feel so good.
No, we need something.
Like no, just sitting in there. I had the cold water.
You're fine. All right, go ahead, man. My bad.
No, we were talking about Raven.
Yes.
You mentioned Raven.
Raven.
Yeah.
My number 8.
Yeah. 4 really great runs. NWA, WCW, WWF.
Yeah, he was
kind of decent. TNA had a great run.
He was great everywhere he went, and I still feel like he's kind of forgotten about. He's one of those people that I just feel like is forgotten about to me. But again, in ring and behind the scenes, he was so important, dude. And
oh my god, his rivalry with Sandman. Holy fuck. How could I forget?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Just some great matches, man. Oh my god.
Man. Yeah.
Dude, rivalry, him and Sandman in the ring. Oh my god, dude. That's chaotic.
Raven was killer, dude. I love
Raven's awesome, man.
Oh, it's one of my favorite, like I said, one of my favorite characters, even though he's so good in ring and everything else that I love so much. But he's one of my favorite characters, man. I just love his attitude and shit, and his just presentation, his mic.
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck. He was like the original CM Punk in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. CM Punk.
And
better than CM Punk.
CM Punk should be on my list. He really should. I'm gonna shout him out here. He should be on my list, and he's not. And you should have him. Hey, man,
he is from Chicago. Yeah,
he's a Chicago guy.
Yeah. He is a Chicago guy. Yeah, he is a Chicago guy. I've
met him a couple Chicago times. Guy, maybe.
Yeah, big Punk fan, obviously.
But I feel like Raven's like the original CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk before CM Punk. Yep.
He would pipe bomb shit. He didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He would sit in the corner, just say what was on his mind. Didn't give a shit. You know, and it was just a character. You know, he was CM.
I met him at a record store I used to work at. Big Naked Rhaegar fan, obviously, because he's they're from Chicago.
Nice.
Yeah, he loves the Articles of Faith. He loves. I mean, a lot of those Chicago bands. Articles of Faith, Naked Rhaegar. He really liked. What was it? Screeching Weasel before that piece of shit punched the woman on stage. But we won't get into that. But yeah, that was your number. What was it? 8.
My number 8.
Hey, yeah, I should have put him on my list. Damn, I'm regretting that.
He's forgotten about. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I love Raven though.
People forget he wasn't Raven existed, man. He's one of my top dogs, one of my favorites.
Yeah, so good though.
So good, man.
Number 7. Damn, a lot of people might think he's low, but dude, number 7 is Mr. WrestleMania himself, Shawn Michaels. I mean,
nice.
It's Shawn Michaels. What else can you say? I mean, the name speaks for itself. I won't even get into his history. If you know, you know. It's Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
A lot of people think he's number 1. I wouldn't argue people saying he's number 1, but he's just my number 7. I have 6 other guys ahead of him, but yeah, Shawn Michaels had 2 great runs before Taker retired him.
Yeah.
But
which, by the way, what a match.
Oh my god, amazing! And his match again with Chris Jericho, he had 2 great He had 2 WrestleMania matches with Taker, right? Back to back.
Yeah.
He had the retirement one where he retired.
Did he do Flair too?
Yeah, he did Flair as well. Oh my god, I forgot.
I love you in the fucking super kick.
Yeah, his match against Scott Hall at WrestleMania 10. Rest in peace to Scott Hall. And against Austin, he put Austin over.
Mm-hmm.
Which kicked off the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania 14.
Very fair.
Yeah. I mean, just Shawn Michaels, dude. That's number 7. Enough said.
Wow. We'll admit here, Shawn Michaels not on my list.
That's crazy, dude.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
That's wild.
That is wild. Yeah.
It's a little questionable, but that's okay.
Yeah. With all the stuff I've mentioned so far.
The question was favorites. If we're talking greatest,
and that's what I'm saying.
Different story.
Man. That's what I'm saying. And he should probably fall somewhere in my favorite. If we did 25, it might show up.
Yeah.
But goddamn, yeah, Shawn Michaels was great. Again, he was one of my older son's favorites, man. He loved Shawn Michaels. We had the DVD of his retirement stuff and all. We watched him retire, man. It was a great night.
And how could you forget the rivalry with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12, the 60-minute Iron Man
the
match.
screw job, Montreal, right?
The Montreal screw job, yeah. The Montreal screw job. 60-minute Iron Man match, dude, against Bret Hart.
Yeah. And fucking Bret, real life, hated that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. It was for real.
Real life hated that motherfucker.
Whose side am I on, though? You're about to find out.
No.
Go to your number 7.
Fair enough. My number 7, fairly predictable. But we're going, speaking of hardcore, and a guy that, somewhat defines hardcore, but's a little older than that. And
oh, I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know where I'm going. I mean, he came up way before hardcore was even a thing, but would go down that path, and it is what it is. Terry Funk, man, the fucking funkster himself, would eventually become known for hardcore, but a fucking master in the ring, a perfect mix of old school. And this is where I had said for you too, man. He spans so many eras, and just one of those people that, he's known for the hardcore shit, but could work a fucking match. You know what I mean? Like, didn't have to depend on it. He's just good.
Him and Mick Foley together, dude.
Him and Mick Foley, especially in Japan, is fucking insane. Those death matches they had in Japan were just ridiculous, dude. But I remember more of his early shit, in the 80s and 90s with Flair, and some of ECW 90s stuff. And
oh, yeah.
But if you go way back, I mean, we were joking about Harley Race at the beginning, but he really did have feuds with Harley Race.
Oh, big time. Big time.
And him and Cactus Jack, and him and Ric Flair, of course, and just
him and
God damn, dude, Terry Funk was a bad motherfucker all around.
I remember him coming. Oh yeah, I remember him coming up with the fucking chainsaw WrestleMania 14, dude, as Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah,
with Cactus Jack against the New Age Outlaws, dude, in the fucking dumpster match. Oh my god, I saw that live, dude, on the TV, of course.
Yeah,
but yeah, classic. Rest in peace, Terry Funk.
Terry Funk was fucking a bad motherfucker in real life, and he fucking
should be on my list, but I caught him during the tail end of his run.
That's fair.
Towards the end.
I saw him in the later 80s and stuff, and
but his match at WrestleMania 14 with Mick Foley against Road Dogg and Billy Gunn was classic.
Yeah, good shit.
Great match.
Watch some old 80s Terry Funk and shit, man.
I'm going to, because
dude, he was so good in ring, man.
Yeah,
minus the hardcore shit, even, man. His shit was almost hardcore before it was hardcore, because his shit was just so stiff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you gotta throw him in there.
Stiff as hell, dude. Like, he made that shit look like it was hurting. Probably hurt some motherfuckers on the way in, but he didn't give a fuck.
Absolutely.
And then when the trend started to go towards hardcore stuff, he had no problem with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck, dude. And it was sad to see how he went out, and him getting older and stuff. But
yeah, rest in peace, Terry Funk. Absolutely.
Fuck, dude. Terry Funk was a bad dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna love Terry Funk. You listen to Terry Funk? I gotta fucking mention. Oh man, I gotta mention Dusty, man, because Dusty's not even on my list. I should probably mention him because Dusty Rhodes and Terry Funk. That's a good rivalry.
Yeah, the late great Dusty Rhodes, man.
And I was gonna put him around the fucking around JYD somewhere. So I think I kind of put Dusty off my list, but I'm gonna throw Dusty in with Terry Funk because I think that's good stuff. You listen to Terry Funk.
Dusty had a little bit of a bad run towards like the late 90s until Paul Heyman saved his career.
Yeah. But again, you talk about a guy who booked territories for forever, and it's so important to wrestling now.
Paul Heyman booked Dusty in ECW and pretty much put food on his table, which saved him and his family, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but rest in peace. Rest in peace to Dusty, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring Dusty up just because Dusty gets Terry Funk is great, but
absolutely.
It's all about Terry
As
Funk,
you should.
man. Terry's a bad motherfucker.
Terry Funk for sure.
Always one of my favorites.
What I've seen from him is great. Absolutely. Oh. So I agree. Number 6 is probably the greatest character that the WWE's ever produced. You said he was stiff as shit or you didn't like it. He was your number 12. My number 6 is The Undertaker, man.
Yeah.
The Undertaker, dude. The streak, obviously. WrestleMania 7 was Jimmy Superfly Snuka. WrestleMania 8 was Jake the Snake Roberts. WrestleMania 9, Giant Gonzalez. WrestleMania 10, I don't think he was around. WrestleMania 11, King Kong Bundy. WrestleMania 12, I can't remember exactly. WrestleMania 12, I don't remember exactly. But WrestleMania 13 is the story I want to get into.
All right.
Because that was live at the Rosemont Horizon here in Chicago.
Oh.
It's now called the Allstate Arena.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know. It used to be called the Rosemont Horizon. I was at WrestleMania 13 live in 1997. March 1997. I'll never forget it. That classic match. There was a lot of great matches at that time. Bret Hart against Austin with Ken Shamrock as the referee.
Oh, Shamrock, Austin
See, dude, Shamrock's a beast. He should be up there, but
yeah,
I love Shamrock. That ankle lock's intimidating as shit.
Yep.
Seeing Austin bloody on the ring like that, he passed out and shit. The main event against Psycho Sid versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
That was a great match. Seeing Psycho Sid put Taker in a powerbomb, dude, that shit was like, oh my God.
What I'm saying, dude.
Damn. Dude, that shit blew my mind. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And then Taker put him in a power driver. Fun story, when Taker put Psycho in a power in the tombstone.
Tombstone, yeah.
Sid went on record saying that he shat himself. And that's why the imagine he shat himself when he landed the tombstone. You couldn't see it because he was wearing black trunks.
Yeah.
But he shat himself. He shat himself for real. Psycho.
Yeah.
But that was great. I saw that live, and like I said, lots of great memories with Taker and Sid. Sid should be up there because he put on a great show. We talked about how stiff he was in the ring, but his promo work was great. Taker obviously is Taker. Zero haters. The Den Man himself. American Badass, great. The Brothers of Destruction, great. Rivalry against Kane, great.
Yep.
Against Michaels, incredible.
Yep.
Retired Michaels, for good. Against Triple H, fantastic. Fucking Jake the Snake put him over. We mentioned that earlier.
Yep.
Probably be no Taker if there was no Jake the Snake Roberts. The most loyal man in the business is Taker. That's my number 6. I could go on forever. But The Undertaker did.
Very good. All right, we're going to pause
Should be
for 1
higher,
second.
but yeah.
One pause right quick.
5 might pissing people off.
All right, my number 6. If you are a part of the Punk Hardcore Crossover Crib Facebook group, you would have seen the exact house show I saw this guy at. And I posted video proof in the comments of me there while a very bloody Jack Victory was getting drug around the crowd by an old school Tommy Dreamer at an ECW house show in Thibodaux, Louisiana, September 6, 1998. But also that night, I saw Sabu live. And for Sabu that night, as I rewatched, it was pretty tame. He really didn't do that much but get his ass kicked.
Compared to what he's known for?
But still, that was the first time I ever saw Sabu live. And I don't remember much of that night, to be honest. I had to go back and message an old friend of mine that I went to that show with. So shout out to you, Chad, if you are watching this. My old friend Chad Best. He was I was a shitty guitar player in high school, and he was a drummer, and we used to hang out and jam together. Most talented drummer I've ever jammed out with, dude, by the way. Like, it's a goddamn crime that dude's not in the band these days, man. Great drummer. So shout out to you, Chad. Much love, brother. As I messaged him, and I'm like, dude, do you remember anything about that show? Because I remember very little. And he provided the town, which is enough for me to trace this thing down and chased it down to YouTube. And I found me in the crowd. I'm like, holy shit, dude, what a week this was. Fucking finding that. It was so much fun for me. It's been so cool doing this list. Y'all have no idea. This is like a fucking memory. I've told my kids about this shit, and I got to show them like this is the moment I was talking about. This is where fucking there was blood at our feet at an ACW house show, and my friend like rubbed his program paper in the blood and kept it. And you're like, dude, you were fucking sick. Yeah, that dude still has a program with Jack Victory's blood on it, probably. Insane.
Damn.
ECW. But that didn't matter.
ECW.
Motherfucking Sabu, dude. Sabu blew my mind that night. His work, his in-ring work, and how he worked the ropes and shit. He's just fucking insane. And he did very little that night looking back.
ECW
like,
legend,
man.
Insane.
But, you know, go
ECW legend.
Yeah, go watch some Sabu matches, dude. His ability in the ring was nuts. You talk about high flyer. I don't even know what to say. I've seen this dude like fucking come off the rope and like end in an elbow and like bounce up somehow and spin around and do other shit. It's like, how the fuck do you do any of this? And he jump off of stuff and he's just scarred up looking motherfucker, dude. Sabu just completely fucking blew me away when I saw him.
That roster was stacked at ECW.
Yeah. Sabu was always my favorite ECW guy. Always. Sabu's insane. Any Sabu match was nuts. And he was like the fucking nephew of the Sheik, right? Or was that just a gimmick? I don't know.
He's up there. I mean, you could throw Raven in there.
Oh yeah.
You could throw Tommy Dreamer for sure.
Well, Dreamer for sure. Dreamer was so goddamn dedicated to what ECW was.
Prime Rob Van Dam at that time, dude.
And that's what I'm saying. So that night, speaking of which, I thought it was Sabu 1-on-1, but it was Sabu and Rob Van Dam in a tag team match against the Dudleys. That was the main event.
Oh my god.
It was nuts.
What a great match.
I shared it. If you go to the group, I have the video of the exact house show I was at. And I'm in the crowd. It's there. You can watch the whole goddamn show if you want. I saw Lance Storm versus Chris Candido that night. So that's in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Oh, I wish I remembered that more. That's a fantastic match, by the way. Go watch that.
Yeah, that roster was stacked back then, man.
Fantastic, dude. Good shit.
But, Paul Heyman running the show, dude.
Yeah. But no matter what, man. Sabu was always my favorite guy of ECW, period. I love Sabu. And his shit was just otherworldly, man. He's a fucking alien. The shit he'd do in ring was just nuts.
Yeah.
I've never seen any high flyer of any sort do the shit Sabu could do.
No.
And another guy that would be a mess eventually and no-show everything. I think at some point or another here recently, he no-showed one of his own Hall of Fame appearances in some fucking description or another in true Sabu form.
Yeah.
But
Hall of Fame worthy though. He's
it obviously wasn't a notable one, but in some sort of they Hall of Famed him and he's like, yeah, I'm not going.
But he is a Hall of Fame type wrestler for sure.
Well, he should be. I wish he would have been able to be in some legitimate federation of some description. Yeah. You know, he deserved it, but he's just too much of a mess of a person to do it, I guess. But goddamn, we should have had his shit together in some sort of way. Because Sabu, I got to see him live in a half-ass capacity. If you've ever seen or watched a Sabu match when he gave a shit, wow. Sabu's a bad dude. He does some insane stuff in the ring. His ability to work every piece of a ring is nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. That was number 6. All right, number 5.
Fucking Sabu.
Top 5. All right. Oh. Chris Benoit used to be at this number, but he's not my number 17. My number 5 is a guy that up until 3 weeks ago, he wasn't this high. He wasn't even in the conversation. Then I took an arrow to the knee. My number 5 is, you ready for it? Take a wild guess.
Oh shit! Okay, all right.
Is the apex predator, the
All right.
viper killer, the
Nice.
legend killers, Randy
Randy
fucking Orton,
Orton.
dude.
Very good.
Randy Orton is goaded, man.
Deservedly.
Holy shit, dude. Randy Orton, you want to talk about a guy that stepped out of his father's
Deservedly.
shadow? Randy Orton is God, man. Holy shit.
Nice.
Dude, bald headed Randy Orton, let's talk about it. When he
Yeah.
shaved his head, dude was a menace. When Triple H broke into his house and just flung him out the window, classic. Rival with Triple H, classic. Against Rey Mysterio, great matches. Rey Mysterio's
I
not on my
dare
top
say
70,
he's
but
almost better the later he gets, right?
dude, he's just getting better, man. He's not even done yet.
Yeah,
And
he's like the death angel of wrestlers. Like everything
dude,
he does, the later he gets, is just better and
dude,
better.
he's been doing this for 25 fucking years. And there's different eras of Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Evolution. First of all, he's the youngest WWE champion in history. Let's talk about it. But the legend killer persona, him against Mick Foley, taking out the Undertaker.
No, the legend killer, dude.
Dude, legend killer Randy Orton, it was a menace. Ball headed Randy Orton, when he fucking
RKO.
Oh my god, dude, that RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah,
RKO is a top five finisher of all time.
Very
dude.
good.
Randy Orton just gets better when he used to come out with the vest and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my
god.
Dude is
because the Cowboy Bob is that.
Yeah, that's the Cowboy Bob thing, man. But Cowboy Bob, his grandfather used to wrestle. Cowboy Bob Orton was a wrestler too, obviously. But Randy Orton obviously has surpassed them both. Obviously.
By a lot. Yeah. No, Randy
by a country fucking mile. Randy Orton is just he's goated, man.
I'll say that about him. And again, not on my list. That's very fair. Should be.
Randy Orton's gonna go down as one of the greatest to ever do it.
He
already has.
He will.
He
already is. Dude's Hall of Fame before he ever could even get close to.
Dude,
yeah.
If they put him in the Hall of Fame now, I wouldn't argue it.
Yeah, he might be one of the people that can go Hall of Fame without quitting. Besides,
dude, I'm not a Rev Theory fan, but that Voices shit, every time I hear it, I go.
Oh, that song's great. Dude.
Oh my god,
one of the best themes.
Oh yeah, I hear voices in my head. I'm like, oh
yeah, absolutely.
That thing goes, bro. When he starts hearing voices and shit, and oh my god, when he
the fucking
him fuck
dude.
His promos are crazy, dude. Oh my god,
he's good. He's one of the few, I will say, when most wrestlers as they go, will eventually degrade. But I will say, and he's known for his pacing. Like people bitch about him playing it safe as he's gotten older, and being part-time here and there and whatever. But like, I still, no matter what, he's one of the few I think that over time has gotten better as he goes. Like you watch current Randy Orton shit, it's still fucking great.
Yeah, him against
Matter
of fact, that's
a
classic
about Edge. Edge's most recent stuff before he left WWE, his shit when he was returning after the Rumble stuff, his first thing was like him and Randy Orton, and they had some killer matches, dude.
Rated RKO, that team. Oh my god, yeah. I forgot about that. The rated RKO.
Yeah, rated RKO. But like even after that, like when he came back, one of the first things they did as a feud was Randy Orton versus Edge in some fucking hardcore shit and stuff.
Randy and John Cena had great matches. Randy and John Cena had great matches, but between them, it's not even a contest. It's Randy Orton all the way. It's Randy Orton all the way.
Yeah.
Dude is fantastic, man.
Great
that RKO is menacing. He's just. It didn't hit me until, like I said 3 weeks ago, where I was like, this guy really is one of the greatest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's not even done yet. He's nowhere close to being done. And you want to talk about what Undertaker was in the locker room all those years? Randy Orton is that now. Yeah. With Undertaker retired,
he probably
Randy Orton's like the guy in the back, right?
Yeah.
He's like the guy. All the young ones they look at him and because he's put in the work. Yeah. He deserves it.
Great worker.
He's so good, man. Randy Orton is great. Worker. Should be number one. He might crack the top 3 later on, but he's in the top 5 now.
I got too much history to ever put him anywhere as close.
Oh, he's so good.
I'm too old for that, but that's good. I appreciate.
Think about it though. The characts, the eras, the legend, the
Viper,
the Apex.
Absolutely.
He's got eras to him.
Absolutely. That's absolutely. I love having him up there. That's good.
Oh man,
I'm too old for that because again we're talking favorites. So yeah, I got too much nostalgia bullshit with me here, but
Randy's so good, man. He's top 5 for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude. Good. Nice to see. Fucking Randy Orton, AJ Styles, you're on some fucking modern
dude.
Shit.
Randy Orton is good, man.
Very nice.
I love Randy. I love Randy.
Should I flip this?
5.
My number 5. Ahead. Should I flip it? Oh man.
Go with the
all right. Should I go with just being a kid, or should I go with pure nostalgia? No, I'm gonna keep it real. This one, number 5 is a pure nostalgia pick. Okay.
Okay.
He's not as good as number 4. I was gonna flip it, but I'm not. My number 5 is pure nostalgia. I remember being in elementary school talking to other kids about this dude. We're all like, "Oh my god, he's spitting that dude's face and the mist and the colors and what they meant." I'm talking about fucking the Great Muta. Fucking Great Muta, dude. What do y'all know about that shit? This is old, man. Talking about like 89, 1990.
That's a
like him against Flair and Luger and Sting. I was like 8, 9 years old. Dude.
That's an album track right there.
Oh man, the Great Muta.
That's an album.
Oh, dude, the Great Muta was the shit.
That's an album.
Cool ass face paint. He changed face paint every time. You're gonna learn here real soon. I'm a big fan of face paint. Oh, dude, I love the Great Muta, dude. In elementary school, dude, we were in line like when the teacher's like, "Shh," we're like, "Oh, did you see him spitting fucking Ric Flair's man? The fucking red mist. No, bad that shit is." He's blind for life. The Great Muta was so goddamn. He do the fucking cool shit. I love the Great Muta. And not only that, dude could work a match. And he was my introduction to Japanese wrestling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a kid in the fucking 80s, I didn't have fucking New Japan. I wasn't watching that shit. I know who the fuck the Great Muta was. I was a fucking kid in elementary school in 1989. I'm like fucking 7. And this dude comes out here with New Japan shit against goddamn fucking Lex Luger or something. And I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. Hurricane Runner and motherfuckers and shit. Goddamn. Dude, the Great Muta was badass.
The Great Muta, man.
And yeah, he's definitely a top 5 for me, man. It changed my life. And to see him now is kind of cool, man.
That's a deep cut.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all ain't gonna remember half of this shit.
You dug into
from here on out you will, but the Great Muta is a deep cut for me, and that just
I know who he is. I know who he is from New Japan.
As a little kid, dude. Oh, I love Great Muta. Muta was huge for y'all. Have no idea. Muta was huge.
Yeah,
he was badass.
Yeah, the real deal for sure. For sure.
Kool-Aid flavors just pow.
Oh man.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. Great Muta.
Yeah. Number 4.
Number 4.
I mentioned Shawn Michaels. My number 4 for the longest time used to be my favorite technical wrestler of all time. He's not my second. My number 4 is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Bret Hart, the best classic golden age of wrestling, the best wrestler from that era, hands down.
Yeah,
the best. I could put Owen Hart here, but that would be way too high. It's Bret Hart all the way, man.
Well,
Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Classic match with Austin at WrestleMania 13. I always go back to that.
No.
But before that, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. Forget about it. WrestleMania 3, he had a solid tag team match against the British Bulldog, and I forget who else.
Yep.
It was the Hart Foundation. Of course, I've gone back to that because I wasn't around in '87. I wasn't alive. But man, dude, Bret Hart is pure wrestling, man.
The ultimate baby
Pure wrestling.
face. First of
the
all.
ultimate baby face for sure. The Montreal Screwjob, obviously, yeah. His
The
jump
ultimate
into
baby face. Hey,
for sure.
can Bret Hart ever turn heel? I don't think so.
No. But Bret Hart versus Michaels, it's always Bret Hart for me. Always been a Bret Hart fan.
Putting the glasses on the kid, you know.
Yeah, man. The fucking leather jacket. Yeah. Dude, his team went crazy. Bret Hart is the man. Yeah. He is top 5.
Out of all of the Hart family.
Yeah.
It's Bret Hart, dude.
But there's only one technical wrestler that's better than him, and we'll get to him coming up next. That's for now, fair. You're number 4.
That's fair. Oh yeah, man. Oddly enough, Bret Hart not on my list. I never was a fan. He's a bit babyface-ish for me. As you all know, I'm a bit of a heel, as the rest of my picks will probably bear out. But yeah, he's a little babyface for me. I never was a fan of that as a kid, but goddamn, dude. I mean, if you go look back now, yeah, Bret Hart, shit. Fuck you, Bill.
His WCW run was pretty decent too. No slouch.
No, he was never bad. Never bad. There's no
never bad at all.
Go, I dare you to go find a bad Bret Hart match. That's a task. All right. My number 4 is like we said earlier. I'm going Mick Foley. My number 4 is Mick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack, all those people.
Dude love.
Again, yeah. My main point I wanted to make was he's known for hardcore, but he's so much more than that. If you go back to the 80s and such, when he first started, you know, before hardcore existed, like I said with Terry Funk, he was you know, he could work. He was a wrestler. He had to be. And
a key piece of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, he was just so good. And shout out to the time WCW totally fucked themselves over by announcing that he would win the title on WWF during the wars. They're like, don't bother switching to WWF right now. Mick Foley's about to win the title, and everybody's like, what? Yes.
One of the biggest mistakes.
Switched over to go watch it happen. Yeah. Fuck themselves in the ratings war.
One of the biggest mistakes WCW's made.
Who could love Mick Foley more than everyone? You know what I mean? And then that just proves it. His ECW stuff, his Japan stuff, Terry Funk, I've said it all. There's nothing I can't tell y'all, dude. I mean, he's known for all the hardcore shit and jumping off the tallest shit ever and almost killing himself with The Undertaker. But none of that matters, man. Just take all that away and watch him wrestle a match, and I guarantee you, if dare you to find a better worker. Vince McMahon didn't want to fuck with him because he was a fat dude. You know?
But he learned have 0 haters.
He learned quick as fuck that there's, you know, there's few workers as good as Mick Foley ever would be.
Yeah. Mick Foley and Taker have 0 haters.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone.
Can't fuck with it, dude.
You just can't fuck with them, yeah.
And I love Mick.
Yeah, I love Mick too. I wish he was higher. Now I kind of feel bad.
he's my number 4.
All right, man. Top 3, dude. God, these top 3 are predictable. You already know what's coming, Kenny. But for all the people who are listening, all righty, let's see. Number 3 is the greatest technical wrestler the WWE or wrestling in general has ever seen. Come on, dude. 1996 Olympics. He won it with a broken freaking neck. My number 3 is Kurt Angle.
Up.
What?
I'm sorry. No, my fucking my cords and my mic just fucked up. I swear to God.
Oh, you're okay. So let me repeat that. You're gonna have to edit this out, by the way. It's my number 3. My number 3, 1996 Olympics. He won it with a broken freaking neck. My number 3 is the one, the only Perk Angle.
Yes.
I mean, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is the greatest pure wrestler that has ever lived, hands down. I will fight anybody who says otherwise. Dude has a proven track record. 2006 Kurt Angle, TNA Kurt Angle. You couldn't fuck with that man. That man took 65 pills a fucking day, and he's still alive to tell about it. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
The dude was a beast.
Kurt Angle.
In real life, supposedly he beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar. I believe it.
Yeah, he definitely
Kurt Angle was ruthless, man. That ankle lock, menacing. His rivalries with Rey Mysterio, with John Cena, of course, with Samoa Joe in TNA. He had a great run there. Part of the Main Event Mafia with Booker T, Sting, a whole bunch of other people. He had a great rivalry with The Rock. He had a great rivalry with Austin. He's made everyone, a lot of people in my top 10, he's made them tap. He made The Undertaker tap. He's made all the big names tap. You name it, Kurt Angle's probably made him tap.
Fuck yeah, that's what he did.
Dude, Kurt Angle is the best technical wrestler ever.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Love Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Top 3. Should be number 1. But again, we're talking favorites. There's only 2 guys that are better. But that's my number 3, Kurt Angle.
By the way, Dave Meltzer never gave Kurt Angle a 5-star match.
That's
for those
crazy.
of you who know who Dave Meltzer is.
So the match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19, that goes beyond 5 stars.
Yeah.
That's way past the 5-star mark.
Well, Dave Meltzer didn't get beyond 5 stars until AEW existed, but we'll get
that blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, he's a
Kurt Angle has way more 5-star matches than you can think of. So many.
Never gave him one.
That's crazy. One of the greatest of all time, hands down.
For those y'all,
one of the greatest.
But speaking of, you mentioned the fucking botched thing, man. Remember when Sid Vicious came out and said, "I'm not half as smart as you think I am." And they're like, and Scott Hall and him's like, okay.
Okay. So
I'm not half as smart as you think I am. And Scott Hall's like, ooh. Damn. That's good shit. Oh fuck.
Oh man, that was my number 3. You're number 3. Top 3 already. Jesus Christ.
Top 3. My number 3, this is the only time I'm gonna try to sneak a tag team in. And I'm gonna cheat. I tag teams would be a whole different show. You know what I'm saying? I could do a whole show on tag teams. But I'm a sneaky tag team. So if I have to be technical here and say favorite wrestler wise, my number 3 is gonna be Animal. But I'm gonna make it the Road Warriors in general.
Warriors, yeah.
Oh God. This coming out to I am Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah.
Dude got the fucking spikes and shit.
Sabbath, man. Sabbath.
That's what I'm saying, dude. The Road Warriors are the reason we're talking at all is about any of this is my love for music and my love for wrestling all comes from the Road Warriors when I was a kid. Just being little as fuck, watching probably old NWA right after Mid-South stuff happened. Probably old NWA in the fucking late 80s. And them dudes just coming through the fucking crowd instead of the walkway and shit. They're fucking Iron Man. Holy shit. God damn, dude. It made me like fucking what is this music? What are these people? Like what's going on? I went listen to my brother's Black Sabbath tapes and it made me like that and metal and punk and wrestling and just anything I love now. They should be number 1, except for the 2 people. We're talking just about wrestling at itself. My number 1 and number 2 are tied together. But if we're talking about us existing here at all, it's the Road Warriors, man. Holy shit. They were, again, these are bodybuilding guys that didn't know shit about wrestling. You know, they brought them in just because they were big dudes. And
Animal, one of the best tag teams that ever
came about. Absolutely. And they didn't, and here's another one of those things where I'm gonna bring it up here probably. if your favorite wrestler is a big monster who just squashes, it's probably because he can't wrestle for shit. Bill Goldberg and such. Brock Lesnar, to be honest, he got better later, but he came in squashing because he didn't know shit about wrestling. And that's the only way they could put him over. Oh, he would get better later.
Brock Lesnar had an amateur wrestling background, though.
That's not wrestling.
It's
that's
not
wrestling. That's different things.
That's
Two
different.
different things.
Yeah, you're right.
But you know how you do it in this world.
True.
It's different things. Yeah. But
we're talking about
he's ahead of what the Road Warriors ever would have been. But you know, those guys back in those days, Brock Lesnar's way ahead of them. But I'm just saying, to me, that's what I saw when I saw Brock Lesnar squashing people. I'm like, hey, because he can't work yet.
He did squash people in the beginning.
He knows like wrestling, but he doesn't know how to work like in this world. I'm talking work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, work.
But and they would get better, and Hawk was the lesser of the two, so I'm gonna technically say Animal is number 3, but it was the Road Warriors, dude. The Road Warriors are everything to me, dude. They're the reason I love everything I love, man. The reason I love metal, the reason I fucking love wrestling, the reason I love any of this shit is because of goddamn fucking dude. You know what I'm saying?
Sabbath is my favorite metal band because of them too.
Scary as fuck, dude.
I love Sabbath.
Oh shit, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Iron Man. Oh man.
I love. It's no secret how much I love Sabbath.
Well, the fucking the Doomsday shit, the fucking finisher they had.
Oh, the Doomsday device, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom.
Paul Ellering as their fucking manager. If you want to see some really funny shit, go to Mid-South, real early Mid-South.
I've seen it.
And watch Paul Ellering as a wrestler do the fucking workouts with the kids. It's some really awkward shit.
Yeah.
That's some creepy stuff, but still.
Yeah, you can't do that today. I won't go.
No. That'd be super awkward and catch some charges. But
throw away the key.
The Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom. Oh my god, I love the Road Warriors so much. This is the only time I'll sneak a tag team in.
Rest in peace to Hawk and Animal, man.
Yeah, but I'm gonna sneak it in as Animal as my favorite, but it's the Road Warriors, man.
Yeah.
One more minute. Pause.
Alrighty, so you can take that WCW background and shove it up your ass now, because these next 2 picks are the reason your company went down the shitter. Starting with my number 2. Jesus Christ. Before he was a Tooth Fairy, before the Scorpion King, before Gridiron Gang, before Walking Tall, before Dwayne Johnson, he was known as The Rock.
Okay.
The jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, the eyebrow raising, lay it down, smack it down, people's champion, The Rock. Come on, dude.
The people's elbow.
The greatest mic talker ever. Bar none. The best on the mic. Damn, honestly, number 2, number 1 are pretty much 1A and 1B. This is 1B.
That's how mine are.
Yeah, this is 1B. Basic number 2 technically, but 1B. The Rock. God damn it. Okay. I saw The Rock. I remember The Rock as Rocky Maivia trash. The Nation of Domination was cool. He started coming up, right? The corporation, when he joined the corporation, it was over. He went over quick. He transcends wrestling at this point. He's the biggest paid actor in the world ever, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, I don't know.
His career,
he's kind of soured on a lot of motherfuckers here recently.
Yeah. His wrestling career is, honestly, I don't get why he's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
I dig the Jumanji movies.
Yeah. The Jumanji one's pretty good. I won't lie. I'll be honest. I like them too. But I mean, Rock and Triple H, great rivalry. Rock against the corporation later on, that rivalry was great. headlined 3 WrestleManias with a certain individual, which we'll get into.
Who?
15, 17, and 19. Won the Rumble in 2000. He Hollywood Rock was great. Long before this final bullshit and the tribal chief bullshit. Fuck that. The Rock, the SmackDown hotel bid, him and SmackDown was just every Thursday night at that time, because I think SmackDown's now on Fridays, which shows you how long I've been watching this shit, right? Because it used to be on Thursdays. SmackDown. Raw on Mondays. One of the 2 reasons the Monday Night Wars was one in favor of the WWF. And WCW went down is because of Rock. He's my number 2. Only one guy that's better, though. We'll get into it, but that's number 2.
But that's okay.
The Rock. The Rock is number 2. One of the greatest ever. Hands down.
You just tossed off my number 2 way back in the beginning of this as just some member of the NWO. You know, fucking some guy. Just he was a member of NWO, whatever. Anyways, just glanced right over him, tossed him off like he didn't exist. And I understand why. Because I didn't like that era of him either. Was not a fan. I was not a fan of him at that point. I didn't like it. Because my number 2, when he fucking mattered, way back, because you're too young for this, and I understand that. That's okay. My number 2 is fucking Sting.
No, I remember Sting. I love Sting.
But I'm talking about Surfer Sting. I'm talking about bleach blonde, mullet, 1980s, 1990s.
You're going way back.
Sting. Real Sting. Fuck the crow shit. I hated the crow shit. As a fan. He's my number 2. As a fan, I hated the crow.
That's
my
favorite
wrestler of all time, standing up there just pointing a baseball bat at motherfuckers for like 3 months. Fuck off. He's a better wrestler than his fucking bastards down there. And again, he started off as one of those bodybuilder dudes, didn't know shit about wrestling. And to be honest, according to most people who give a shit and knew better, he didn't really care that much about wrestling in the beginning. But he would learn to. And it would be great. And then that became because of my number 1. We'll get there. But I painted my face like Sting, every year as a kid for Halloween, dude. Surfer Sting, are you fucking kidding me? His whole gimmick was no selling, but if you watch his matches with my number 1, he's a master of selling. He could sell as a babyface better than anybody. You got to watch old Sting, man. Fuck the crow shit. Fuck everything you know about him. Go watch those old blonde days of Sting, dude. He was so goddamn good. He started again like Luger. He's just a bodybuilder guy. Started out with the Florida era. And later on, he would just get so goddamn good. Oh, man.
Crow Sting rules too. Crow Sting matters.
No, I hated Crow Sting. Crow Sting is bullshit. He started out originally in a tag team with the Ultimate Warrior.
True.
Fuck the Ultimate Warrior. Probably the biggest piece of shit in wrestling history. He was the original Goldberg. He just couldn't do shit. And they put him over as a monster because he couldn't do shit. And that's what I was mentioning in my other stuff about that. But he learned to do better and stuff. But his NWA 1987 to 1991, his early 90s WCW on out, he actually didn't go to WWF.
No,
he's one of the few that stayed with WCW, man. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go until his WWE way later.
He's the face of WCW.
For a long time, dude. That's what I'm saying. This is why we're here. Oh man, I love old Sting, dude. Old Sting was so awesome. And to be honest, it's a completely nostalgia pick. If I knew then what I knew now, he wouldn't be this high. But he's only this high because of how great my fucking number 1 was. And for my number 1 to lift him this goddamn high tells you how great my number 1 was.
I already know who your number 1 is, but I won't say.
Of course, we all do. But that's what I'm saying. That's why my number one is number one.
Exactly.
He brought Sting of all fucking people that high.
Just like you know who my number one is.
Of course.
My number one is the face of the company. Think about it. The reason the Monday Night Wars won in favor of WWF.
Oh, yeah.
The WCW killer himself.
Yeah.
He's a 6-time WWF champion, a 2-time Intercontinental champion, a 4-time WWF Tag Team champion. Once with Shawn Michaels, once with Dude Love, once with The Undertaker, once with Triple H, 1-time $1 million champion, 3-time Royal Rumble winner, 97, 98, and 2001.
Than the rest.
Number one-time undisputed champion, 5-time Triple Crown champion, and 2-time Slammy Award winner, 2009 WWE Hall of Famer. My number one is motherfucking Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I acknowledge the $1 million championship.
Not stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve
Williams.
Stunning.
Oh, in 1996, King of the Ring winners.
My younger son hates this, but he one time referred to him as Steve in Texas, and I refused to call him anything else.
That's hilarious.
He's right here mad at me now. He's like, God damn it. He's like, what's his name? Steve in Texas? I'm like, that's his fucking name from now on.
What can you say about Steve Austin that hasn't been said?
No.
Oh, dude.
The Austin.
Oh.
No.
Everyone in my generation lived vicariously through this man. To be able to say fuck you to your own boss, beat the living shit out of him, tell him whatever the fuck was on your mind, drinking beer. He was an everyday dude. There is no gimmick. He's just a regular dude, beer drinking dude. And it's ironic because I'm straight edge as shit, right?
Want me to pour beer down my shirt again? There you go.
Austin is exactly. And a lot of people forget.
I'm gonna have to change his shirt now.
Prior to Owen Hart pile driving Steve Austin, which almost ended his fucking life, not just his career, his life.
Yeah.
He was one of the best technical wrestlers coming up. But then that pile driver kind of hindered and in a way saved his career at the same time. He had to change his wrestling style. He became a brawler. Jake the Snake Roberts put him over at the King of the Ring. The whole Austin 316 thing. Shawn Michaels put him over at WrestleMania 14. That kickstarted the Attitude Era. Austin became the face. And then prior to that, WrestleMania 13, I already mentioned it, fucking against Bret Hart, Ken Shamrock, the referee. He never tapped out. He passed out, bloody face, one of the most iconic images of all time.
Yeah.
Headlined 3 WrestleManias with The Rock. Growing up, it was always, WrestleMania 15, 17, and 19. His last match was with The Rock, and The Rock retired him. But prior to that, when I was a kid, it was always The Rock or Austin. Austin or The Rock. I was always an Austin kid. Always. Even though secretly, I love The Rock just as much. It's yin and yang. That's why I said 1A, 1B. You can't have one without the other. It's Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Literally.
But it's going to be Austin at the end.
It's Austin all the way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It will be.
I get Austin and McMahon. Austin and The Rock is probably the greatest.
But I say Austin and McMahon is probably bigger than Austin and The Rock, dude. And that's pretty close.
It's bigger, but Austin and The Rock is the best rivalry I've ever seen.
As wrestlers, yeah.
They work so well together. And The Rock selling Austin, or selling the Stunner, always cracks me up. The Rock stunning Austin is classic. Steve Austin laying the Rock bottom on The Rock is classic. There's only one number one. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's the greatest of all time. I've always said it. I will maintain that to the day I die. This man right here is the reason WCW is no longer around.
That's
and fair. Shout out to Eric Bischoff because he fired Steve Austin and literally handed him to the WWF on a silver platter.
He did.
So in reality, even though Austin killed the WCW, right? But Eric Bischoff pretty much self-destructed his own company.
Oh, yeah.
He put his own company out of business by firing this man, handing him to Mr. McMahon, to Vince.
When Vince knew what he was doing, yeah.
And Vince knew what he was doing. He took it. and he ran with it. Just an everyday guy drinking beer. He came out, literally beat the shit out of whoever was
The
in the ring.
Texas rattlesnake.
Didn't matter if it was man or woman. And that Stone Cold Stunner is the best finish I've ever seen. Fuck
Although
Kevin
it's
Owens. The
derived
Stone
of
Cold Stunner
everything.
is the best.
Yeah.
Fuck the Kevin Owens Stunner.
But
It's Stone Cold Stunner.
Kevin Owens can fuck off. The stunner that Steve Austin has done is stolen from everything else. But
yeah,
I remember Stunning Steve. I'm bad old. I watched Stunning Steve.
I vaguely remember too. But yeah, WrestleMania 12 when I first saw him. Then I saw the King of the Ring.
And that's what I did. I was like, oh, it's that guy.
I saw him at WrestleMania 17. That's the other WrestleMania I've seen live. I saw it in Houston. I went to that event.
Yeah.
My thoughts on that WrestleMania when we do greatest WrestleMania. So if we ever do that, I'll let you know.
He was the biggest thing they had then, in WWF.
He's still the biggest thing they had, the #1 merch seller to this day.
But the #1 guy of so many places. I mean, you could say WWF. He was the #1 guy in there too. He was the #1 guy of WWF. He was probably the #1 guy. I don't know about WWE because there's probably too many. But WWF, WCW, NWA, name it. Name a fucking territory this guy wasn't a fucking #1 guy of. And I do fucking.
Come on, man.
The fucking Ric Flair, man.
Exactly.
I dare you.
I knew it.
To get to the Nature Boy.
Knew it.
But my favorite match is because as a kid, I was able to stay up late because of Clash of Champions in 1988. I'm sorry. In 1988, I was like 7. I got to stay up late and watch the first one. The first episode of Nitro, Great American Bash 1990, Starrcade 89. Any fucking Ric Flair and Sting matches were my favorite matches of all time back then because I was a little kid. And I just loved all of it. There's just that part of it. That's what made Sting my #2 is his matches with Ric Flair. Any Ric Flair Sting matches are my favorite matches of all time. But going beyond that, the Four Horsemen, Arn, Tully, and Ole. Oh man, Rick could make anyone look like $1 million. We talked about it earlier. It's like put a new guy in with Ric Flair. He'll look like he's been wrestling for 20 years. He get that fucking platinum blonde hair full of blood and shit, and he's just begging for his life. Oh, please, no. Oh, and then he fucking get the upper hand and fucking cheap shot and his pacing, the way to build a match, how to tell a story in the ring. It's all what Ric Flair was, dude.
The dirtiest player in the game.
The dirtiest player in the gang. Space
Son
Mountain
of a gun
himself. Oh my God.
Wheeling and dealing.
Him and Steamboat. I didn't even get to Steamboat. This is where I wanted to lump Steamboat in. Because again, like I said about, I forgot who, but too much Bret Hart, I think maybe. Too much of a baby face for me. I didn't like Steamboat. I had a friend in elementary school when we were talking about Muda, right? I had a friend in elementary. We were close friends. My mom used to go visit his mom. We'd hang out because we had to. And he was a big Steamboat fan. I'm like, fuck that guy, dude. Ric Flair, motherfucker. I like the heels, man. But like him and Steamboat is the standard for which you base what a great wrestling match is. Go watch any Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat matches, and then that's what a great wrestling match is.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like you said, Austin and Rock, like they had some good matches and stuff, but it's come on, dude.
No, dude, I disagree.
Don't shit on
Austin and the Rock matches, dude.
They can't touch what Steamboat and Flair would do. There's no way.
No, dude, they've surpassed that shit, man.
No way.
Absolutely. Yes, they have. No way. Yes, they have, dude. Austin and the Rock. Oh, this is a debate that's gonna go on forever, but trust me.
Fuck it. I feel like
The two biggest draws in history.
Austin in the ring is sloppy. You get those fucking stomping a mud hole in somebody, and none of that shit was landing. It looked like shit.
Look, here's the deal, though. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, we go back to the Hulk Hogan argument. A lot of people say Hulk Hogan, right? But Steve Austin, I would argue, was a bigger draw than Hulk Hogan ever was.
Oh, draw him. That's all. Yeah.
I mean,
so you gonna say?
I acknowledge that Hogan walked so Austin could run before him, obviously, because
I'm talking about fuck both of them. I'm talking about Ric Flair.
People say Hogan ruled the 80s. No, I'm saying in the context that Hogan ruled the 80s. No, well, obviously Ric Flair walks so Austin could run. That goes without saying, obviously. There is no Austin without Flair.
There's no nothing
if we're talking
without Ric Flair.
Yeah, if we're talking greatest wrestlers of all time, I mean Ric Flair is probably number one. The greatest of all time.
That was my point here. Is like not only is he my favorite, because I'm the leader here, because I know you, especially with music. If it's your favorite, it's the best. That's how you are, generally. Especially when it comes to hardcore and shit. If you love something, it's the best. I know you. And I'm not like that. I will absolutely. I started this episode off. Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off because I'm gonna be an asshole here. I start every episode off, and I did this one with I'm separating the fact of favorite from best. But I will tell you now that stops here.
Right.
This is the only time I will not separate this.
Right.
Not only is Ric Flair my fucking favorite, but he's beyond measure the fucking best.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is. As far as objectively speaking, because I put a lot of subjection into my
fuck everybody.
No, exactly.
He's the real Nature Boy. He's not even the original Nature Boy.
No, it's Buddy Rogers. I knew that. But Ric Flair took that money. Ric Flair took it. He made it his own. He made it larger than life.
Big gold.
He made it larger than life. No, I acknowledge. I mean, Ric Flair was in my top 20 for a reason. He's one of the best heels, one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. Exactly. But I caught the tail end of his career when he was much older. Yeah.
That's fine. Go ahead.
No, there's no argument. I'm not even going to argue the point. Of course, he walked so everybody could run.
Not a good dude, by the way.
Ric Flair? No, he's a character for sure.
Not a good dude.
He's a character for sure.
Not a good dude.
But if we're talking about the go, yes.
No, yeah. It's Ric Flair. Man, I love watching Ric Flair matches. Oh my god.
Oh, he's had some great ones against Michaels and everybody. Even before that, like you said.
Name it. Oh
you name it, yeah.
His ability to put anyone over. Like I could get in the ring with Ric Flair right now, me not knowing anything about wrestling, and Ric Flair at like 90, and he could make me look like I've been wrestling for 30 years and put me over. Without question.
I will say about Ric Flair, his chops look deadly, man.
Yeah, because he lays them motherfuckers in. He's not scared to.
He used to really hit motherfuckers in the chest for real.
Yeah, make it take. Shout out to Gunther these days in the modern WWE.
Yeah.
That knows how to do that shit the way Ric Flair used to. He wrestles old school. Does the foreign menace thing. Fantastic.
Yeah. But only Ric Flair can make that shit look deadly.
Oh, yeah, dude. Ric Flair does
somehow, some way chop.
Oh, yeah.
And that figure...
Because you better sell it, that's why.
I will say for the longest time, because I used to wrestle when I was a kid, I won't lie. I never understood when I saw the figure 4 why it hurt. I was like, that doesn't look like it hurts.
That motherfucker hurts.
And then someone put me on it hurt for real.
My brother did it to me when I was
I understood why, because there's pressure on your ACL.
That motherfucker hurts.
And after tearing my ACL 3 times, like I have in my lifetime, the same one. Yeah. That figure 4 hurts like a bitch.
That motherfucker hurts in real shit. That's shoot.
Because there's pressure on that tendon right there.
That some bitch hurts for shoot.
That shit hurt for real. That shit hurt for real. And then the way people used to flip Ric Flair over so the pressure would be on his knee.
Yeah. Well,
they would counter it.
Yeah, if you go back to if you go back to old Mid-South, there was another guy that had that as his finisher. And they would flip it and stuff. I don't know who came first on that, but yeah, that was good stuff.
Nah, Ric Flair, that figure 4 synonymous with Ric Flair, dude.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't know if it's DiBiase or somebody else. And DiBiase was part of it for sure. I don't know if he was reversing it on someone else or what.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Landell or somebody else, but
the figure four synonymous with Ric Flair, just like when I thought just like when I thought the Diamond Cutter was synonymous with Diamond Dallas Page, it's now synonymous with Randy Orton as the RKO.
Yeah.
Like that move's so synonymous to him now.
Yeah.
And then fucking the ankle lock. I mean, Ken Shamrock did it before Kurt Angle, but it's synonymous with Kurt now, you know?
Yeah, man. I'm about to say Shamrock was the original guy. Man.
Oh, dude, his ankle lock was dead.
Love Shamrock.
He put some dude for real on an ankle lock over. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
It's like Chris Van something. Dude was in pain for real. I was like, yeah, I believe it. And dude, fucking Ken is still jacked now, and he's almost 60 and shit. He's still jacked.
Yeah.
But you know, I wanted to put Shamrock in this top 20, but he's
fair.
more synonymous with MMA.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the original guys, pioneer of the MMA.
Yeah. If I gave two shits about MMA and did a top 20, he'd be pretty high up.
Yeah, he'd be in the top 5 without even blinking an eye. He'd probably be number 3 or 2. But Ric Flair, I knew it was gonna be.
Oh yeah, it's always gonna be Rick. It's always gonna be Rick, man. I just love him, man.
And we didn't even talk about his mic work. How he used to
the goddamn robes. Yeah, man, motherfucker made me believe he was having a heart attack in the ring for real. We all thought that shit was real.
I always love how he used to elbow drop for no reason on the. He would go crazy in the ring. There's no one in the ring, and he's just throwing elbows in the ring. Like
my dad, man, like he'd be just fucking getting his ass kicked, and my dad's like, "Don't let him rest. Don't let him rest."
Oh, because he will. Yeah,
because my dad thought the shit was real. You know, he's like, "Oh man, you can't let him rest." And the goddamn Ric Flair be begging for his life. Oh, please no. And he say he got the bloody blonde hair, and he get the upper hand, and he's just that motherfucker was never out, man.
Ric Flair, dude.
Just the way he'd build the match. I said he would just the build, man. You know.
Yeah.
That's what people forget to do these days with modern matches. You know, they just forget. You know, like with the hardcore shit, even with the AEW stuff and everybody else, like they start the match and they immediately just jump out the ring, start beating each other with shit. It's like, no, come on, dude, you gotta have a match first. You gotta. And even Mick Foley built up to the goddamn thumbtacks and crazy shit he would do. You still have to have a wrestling match. You don't just jump to
it. No, you don't start off that way. He added that later on.
Yeah, you fucking breathe, man. You know, you gotta have
and the whole thumbtacks thing was synonymous with Cactus Jack. I've never seen.
Yeah,
I've seen Mankind do it once in a while, but it was more Cactus Jack.
Yeah, and Vince told him, "Hey, don't ever do that shit again." He's like, "Okay." He's doing it every time.
Sometimes him as himself would do it, like him as just Mick Foley, he would do it too.
He would dump that
like one time
over. He like, you motherfucker.
When Randy Orton was the Legend Killer, he RKO'd Mick Foley on the thumbtacks. And I remember when Randy hit that RKO, he had thumbtacks on his back, and he was hurting like shit.
For real. Because you got to take it. Because that's that thing, man. Like, if you're going to do the Mick Foley thing, that's cool. He's going to take that shit. He's going to make like $1 million bucks, and he's gonna take some horrible bumps. But just so you know, you got to do it too.
Oh, Randy took that shit.
You're coming with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it too. And if you do it, if you go with him, it's going to put you over huge as fuck, you know?
Yeah.
But he's going to make it real. It's going to be some real shit. You got to do it too. He's gonna put you over, and he's gonna fucking put himself through hell, but you got to do it.
I like his work in Evolution too, with like Batista, Triple H, and Randy.
Batista was great.
Batista was a beast. I didn't even mention him in the top 20, but you could make a case. He was great in the ring, like 2004 to 2007.
Wish I had my other list of honorable mentions because I have a bunch.
But Ric Flair just put them all. He put Randy over. He put Batista over.
But everybody.
He turned them. He made them all what they became.
Yep.
No, it makes sense. He put Austin over. But I love Austin so much because he meant.
No, I get it. If you're an Attitude Era guy, there's only one option. It's Rock.
There's only one, and it's not even The Rock. Some people say The Rock. It's like
Austin Rocker, like you said, 1A, 1B. It's Austin Rock. If you're that guy, like I said, I was more of a WCW, NWA, Mid South, all that old territory stuff, and older stuff.
But golden age of wrestling, like the Hogans and the Ric Flairs and the Michaels, Hogan is not touching Michaels or Flair.
No, no,
Not
and
at all.
I didn't put Hogan, I didn't put Warrior, any of
No,
that shit. You know what I'm
Ultimate
saying?
Warrior is not touching Ric Flair.
I saw through him way back then. I saw through him then. I saw through Warrior. I saw through Hogan. I saw through Goldberg. They were all those dudes that were just big as shit. And I have a bunch of people in my list that were big as
What has
fuck.
Goldberg ever done besides the jackknife and the
He had two
spear?
moves.
That's it.
And to be honest, for me, you're gonna disagree with this heavily because he grew. But to me, that's why I didn't have Brock Lesnar in my top because it's how he started. Really
Yeah.
early Brock Lesnar shit was him doing Goldberg shit. He was just a big guy that came from fucking UFC that they're trying to put over. He knew two moves and he got by for quite a while on that shit. And I saw
Was it
that and I was
the
like, he's another fucking Goldberg, fuck him. And he never got on my list because of that.
it
He
was the
grew.
F5 and the German suplex,
Yeah,
right?
he had two moves.
Yeah.
He was the same thing. He was another fucking Goldberg. He's another fucking Ultimate Warrior. He's another fucking big guy from someone else that everybody thought was real. So they're gonna put him over real wrestlers that actually gave a shit.
You know who made Brock better?
And
Kurt
that's
Angle.
why I don't have him anywhere near my shit. But I will admit that Lesnar came a long way.
Kurt Angle made him better.
Absolutely.
A lot better. I remember that rivalry. You're right. Because Brock started doing more shit when he started working with Angle.
Yeah,
Because Angle was doing.
and that's where I'll give some people credit where they're willing to learn.
Yeah.
Like Sting and all those Luger and all those people. Like they didn't know shit and didn't want to learn shit at first, but they came around.
Yeah.
Sting's actually quite notorious for not really giving a shit about the wrestling world. But
If we're talking technical, yeah. Greatest wrestler of all time is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
If we're talking greatest technical wrestler, I would put Angle at 1 because just Angle doing fucking moonsaults off the top of a cage is crazy.
That's whatever. I'd
Well,
probably,
Angle
if I'm talking technical, I'd still put Malenko or Benoit 2 or 3 or whatever.
I would put Angle over Benoit for longevity.
Yeah.
He was around longer.
Well, yeah, for
he peaked
quite obvious reason.
He came in
again. Malenko's another one of those guys that did a lot of time in training and putting behind the scenes guys that have so much on my list of. Malenko's way high in that kind of stuff.
Malenko in WCW was great, but like you said,
you know who else? Another
no
one
character.
Y'all don't realize. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Another guy a lot of y'all don't realize is still so involved in all this stuff, and he doesn't make my list because of not mentioning tag teams. Is Michael Hayes of the Fabulous Freebirds.
You're right. Isn't he vice president now? The WWE?
Yeah, he's still
he's like an executive now
of all that stuff, man. Michael P.S. Hayes. Oh, dude, if we could have done a tag team shit, this would be way different, bro.
I remember when he managed the Hardys.
Yeah, Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes is a massive, as far as modern wrestling goes, and anything and anywhere in the last 20 years. Michael Hayes is behind it. I guarantee you that.
He's one of the brains.
Michael Hayes, greatest brain of all time in wrestling history.
Oh, no one knows the ins and outs over like Jim Cornette. Absolutely, yeah, that's true.
There's only one.
No one knows wrestling.
The greatest hit wrestling mind ever to exist.
He knows it
inside
out.
I'm gonna bring this up. Jim Cornette, the beginning and the end. If you want wrestling history, any knowledge whatsoever, go listen to any of his podcasts. There's a bunch.
If Jim Cornette wasn't, if wrestling was an atom and you had to dissect it, you had to pick someone to dissect it from inside out.
Anyone to know all of it. Yeah. Knows everything.
He knew all those guys. He could describe them all in one word. He saw everyone come up.
Yep. And started off just as a kid that lost his dad, that they let him be a photographer.
True.
His dad had died, and he was such a big fan of wrestling. His mom was raising him, and they let him do photography at local wrestling, and that's how he came up.
He's
taking pictures, and they're like, "Hey, you want to fucking do the manager thing?" And he started bringing people on. That's why the tennis racket is. Most people's like, "What's the tennis racket all about?" It's because he was playing the rich mama's boy.
Yeah.
And what do rich people do? They play tennis. That's what he could do. Because he's like, need something I can beat people with. So he had the tennis racket. He's playing the rich mama's boy thing.
Rich people play golf and tennis.
Yeah. So he wanted a tennis
Exactly.
racket, so you can beat people with it. You can hide stuff in the fucking case, and you can flavor it up and look cool.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from. The
James E. Cornette.
James E. Cornette, the Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, tag team wrestling. It's a
Oh,
whole
I
different.
forgot about the Midnight
Those
Express.
two together, the Midnight and the Rock and
The
Roll,
Midnight, the
the
Rock and Roll
greatest tag
Express.
team fucking shit ever. That's a whole different discussions, but
the Rougeau brothers as well, I think.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of people. Shout out to Bobby Brain as well. He's one of the best managers I've ever seen. All righty. Let's do the outro and that's it.
Yeah, the end of it, but that's the end. Here we are. I think we've covered
20 wrestlers.
There you go. Actually 40.
40.
Well,
40. Some
20,
repeats.
30 something. Because I think we agreed on a couple. But yeah. There you go. That's quite a lot of wrestling talk for those who want to hear it.
Oh yeah. That's one more down the drain.
One more.
One more off the list, I should say.
Yep.
Not down the drain.
It is down the drain, I feel like at this point.
I got nothing. I got nothing
notes
else.
beyond my notes.
Exactly.
There you go. Oh, here's the next time. I don't know what we're doing next or when it'll be. These things are infrequent and we happen when we happen.
Just in case, happy Halloween, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to everybody. We'll see you all in 2025.
Before you know it.
We'll see you in 2025.
I plan to do something before this ends. I'll at least do an end of the year wrap. I got a couple of crazy shows I'm going to, so I'll probably do something with that. If you want to do something individually, y'all please do. Yes. Who knows? We got the Nile thing. That'll probably be next year at this point. But we'll see. Here's to it, whatever it may be.
Here's to it, exactly.
But thanks for joining us if you did this whole way. So, all right, man. I appreciate you so much.
Likewise.
If y'all listen to it, man, what a good time.
Absolutely. Woo!